A short time ago, the United States military began major combat operations in Iran. Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime, a vicious group of very hard, terrible people. Its menacing activities directly endanger the United States, our troops, our bases overseas, and our allies throughout the world. For 47 years, the Iranian regime has chanted death to America and waged an unending campaign of bloodshed and mass murder, targeting the United States, our troops, and the innocent people in many, many countries. Among the regime's very first acts was to back a violent takeover of the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, holding dozens of American hostages for 444 days. In 1983, Iran's proxies carried out the Marine barracks bombing in Beirut that killed 241 American military personnel. In 2000, they knew and were probably involved with the attack on the USS Cole. Many died. Iranian forces killed and maimed hundreds of American service members in Iraq. The regime's proxies have continued to launch countless attacks against American forces stationed in the Middle East in recent years, as well as U.S. naval and commercial vessels in international shipping lanes. It's been mass terror, and we're not going to put up with it any longer. From Lebanon to Yemen and Syria to Iraq, the regime has armed, trained, and funded terrorist militias that have soaked the earth with blood and guts. And it was Iran's proxy, Hamas, that launched the monstrous October 7th attacks on Israel, slaughtering more than 1,000 innocent people, including 46 Americans, while taking 12 of our citizens hostage. It was brutal, something like the world has never seen before. Iran is the world's number one state sponsor of terror and just recently killed tens of thousands of its own citizens on the street as they protested. It has always been the policy of the United States, in particular, my administration, that this terrorist regime can never have a nuclear weapon. I'll say it again. They can never have a nuclear weapon. That is why in Operation Midnight Hammer last June, we obliterated the regime's nuclear program at Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan. After that attack, we warned them never to resume their malicious pursuit of nuclear weapons, and we sought repeatedly to make a deal. We tried. They
Hey,
wanted to do
Charles.
it. They didn't want to do
Hey,
it.
Tammy.
Again, they wanted to do it. They didn't want to do
Hey,
it. They
Gregory.
didn't know what was happening. They just wanted to practice evil. But Iran refused, just as it has for decades and decades. They've rejected every opportunity to renounce their nuclear ambitions, and we can't take it anymore. Instead, they attempted to rebuild their nuclear program and to
Hey,
continue
Dale.
developing long-range missiles that can now threaten our very good friends and allies in Europe, our troops stationed overseas, and could soon reach the American homeland. Just imagine how emboldened this regime would be if they ever had and actually were armed with nuclear weapons as a means to deliver their message.
Hey,
For
Heather.
these reasons, the United States military is undertaking a massive and ongoing operation to prevent this very wicked, radical dictatorship from threatening America and our core national security interests. We are going to destroy their missiles and raise their missile industry to the ground. It will be totally, again, obliterated. We're going to annihilate their Navy. We're going to ensure that the region's terrorist proxies can no longer destabilize the region or the world and attack our forces and no longer use their IEDs or roadside bombs, as they are sometimes called, to so gravely wound
Heather.
and kill thousands
I
and
didn't say it
thousands
already.
of people, including many Americans. and we will ensure that Iran does not obtain a nuclear weapon. It's a very simple message. They will never have a nuclear weapon. This regime will soon learn that no one should challenge the strength and might of the United States Armed Forces. I built and rebuilt our military in my first administration, and there is no military on earth even close to its power, strength, or sophistication. My administration has taken every possible step to minimize the risk to U.S.
Hey, Dale.
personnel in the region. Even
People coming
so,
in for
and I do
Saturday.
not make this statement lightly, the Iranian
Yeah, this is from early morning, Heather. I'm going to be playing a bunch of clips.
regime seeks to kill.
I'll explain more in a few minutes.
The lives of courageous American heroes may be lost, and we may have casualties. That often happens in war. But we're doing this not for now. We're doing this for the future, and it is a noble mission. We pray for every service member.
I know the people in Iran think he's dead. The actual people there. Hey, Debbie, by the way.
As they selflessly risk their lives to ensure
Marie,
that Americans and our children will never be threatened by a nuclear-armed Iran. We ask God to protect all of our heroes in harm's way.
I have friends in Iran, mostly Kurdish, and they totally believe he's gone.
And we trust that with his help, the men and women of the armed forces will prevail. We have the greatest in the world, and they will prevail. To the members of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, the armed forces, and all of the police, I say tonight that you must lay down your weapons and have complete immunity, or in the alternative, face certain death. So, lay down your arms. You will be treated fairly with total immunity, or you will face certain death. Finally, to the
Gregory, I don't think you will see any loss of life for America. This will be over within 24 hours at most. A lot of them are leaving the regime since he's dead, and they're starting to find it out, and they're starting to leave. Some of them have been killed for trying to leave. You know, they're trying to kill them to keep them there. But the Persian fighters and the Kurdish fighters are going to go in shortly and clean it up. You know, get rid of whatever's left.
Great, proud people of Iran, I say tonight that the hour of your freedom is at hand. Stay sheltered. Don't leave your home. It's very dangerous outside. Bombs will be dropping everywhere. When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take. This will be probably your only chance for generations. For many years, you have asked for America's help, but you never got it.
Believe it or not, before Iran took over, a lot of them, especially the Persian ones and some of the Kurdish ones, are Christians. Well, the Christian ones, or the Kurdish ones, were a lot of them are Yazidis, which is kind of like a precursor to Christians. Yazidis is before there was Christians. That's what Christianity came from, I guess.
No president was willing to do what I am willing to do tonight.
Charles.
Now you have a president who is giving you what you want. So let's see how you respond. America is backing you with overwhelming strength and devastating force. Now is the time to seize control of your destiny and to unleash the prosperous and glorious future that is close within your reach. This is the moment for action. Do not let it pass. May God bless the brave men and women of America's armed forces. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless you all. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, it made him cry and winking. Huh? Well, here's a kind of a friend of mine, an acquaintance, Goldie. She's Iranian. She was in the Canadian Parliament. They kicked her out for being Islamic phobic. She's from Iran, you know, so because she was so much against the regime. Here's her statement. It's a little short one.
Iranian here, with a message for every single American who voted for President Trump. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. God bless President Trump, God bless the US military, and God bless America. We can't wait until Iran is free and we can welcome you back to our country with open arms and be the allies that we used to be before the Islamic regime took over our country in 1979. That's it. Thank you. Thank you so much, and God bless America.
Greg, I'm going to have to start liking hams more. I didn't really care that much for ham, but I'm going to have to start liking it a lot more.
Targeted military strikes against the IRGC, the Ayatollah's terror army, is not an attack on Iran. It's not an attack on the Iranian people. It's quite literally the opposite. It's targeting the...
I was talking to a lot of Iranian people all day, so I didn't get a chance to put these in order. So you're kind of getting them as I downloaded them.
Very people who are massacring unarmed civilians on the streets of Iran. Let's not forget, 36,500 civilians, unarmed civilian, massacred in the worst way possible on the streets. We've seen beheadings, we've seen chemical weapons being used, rape, torture, and it's still ongoing. So targeting these people, targeting this regime that is occupying Iran, is not an attack on Iran. No Iranian is calling for an attack on Iran. Rather, Iranians are calling on the West to target the killing machine of the Ayatollah to help them achieve their democratic aspirations on the streets. Despite facing a fully armed, fully radicalized suppressive apparatus, the Iranian people have been taking to their streets in their millions. We have witnessed horrific scenes that even by the standard of the Middle East are unprecedented. So don't fall for the lies of the Islamic regime's lobbyists, even though they sound like they know what they're talking about and wear suits and go on mainstream media. Don't listen to their lies. Listen to the voice of the Iranian people from inside the country. They are saying, please, world, target this killing machine. Spread this message. Let's undermine and debunk all the lies from the Islamic regime's lobbyists, because in the past few days, they're back at it again, and it's time we put them in their place.
Amen. A lot of these are short clips. A lot of them saying that. All right, here's a little dogfight. This is over the skies of Iran. See how they put those trailers out? That's so a lot of the shots that are being shot at them can't really track them. Pretty good technology these days. Here's a throwback. This is a different one than I thought. These are the kids getting out of school celebrating. A little bit on the happy side. This is for the good people of Iran.
Israel and the US just attacked IRGC in Iran, and the first site that they targeted was Khamenei's house, plus some other military sites. Just for the record, we Iranians are happy with this. So the liberals of the world, the anti-war people, and the leftists can chill out, all right? We're happy. This is what we wanted for a long time, and hopefully this is the end of Islamic regime in Iran.
Amen. Amen.
شبکه خوب من و تو بو بزن آزادی
Never seen so many people so happy to be bombed, huh? All right, here's some Iranians in Australia. I don't know how the heck they do that la 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 the thing. Seems like only the women can do it. All right, bombing again.
We're all in the shelter. The kids, everybody, we're all in the shelter. And just for anybody who's wondering, in the U.S., if we could have gone back in time and prevented North Korea from acquiring a nuclear weapon, I'm sure a lot of us would have said, yes, let's do this, because the world is much less safe because that crazy regime has nuclear power.
Well, now they got their 72 goat virgins, didn't they, Gregory? Didn't they? 72. I think it's 72.
So what we're doing right now, the U.S. is leading the world in preventing an Islamist regime from getting a nuclear power. And that is something that everybody should stand behind. And for that, the Israelis are going into the shelters. Yeah, so that's what we're doing. Stay safe, everybody. I'm going to keep you updated. I'm Chai.
She's willing to get into shelters to get rid of this regime. You know that the regime, 90% of the funding for all terrorist organizations is coming from Iran. So this is a win-win-win-win situation. That's when they found out Khamenei was dead.
So these are Iranians celebrating and dancing in the streets after it was announced that Israel and America had begun striking the Iranian or Islamic regime. Now, you're going to hear a lot of people in America talk about how bad America is, but this is what most of the people in Iran wanted. And we had seen that with the protest for the past 2 months. And you can find dozens of other videos just like that on social media right now.
Actually, they had uprisings before, but both Biden and Obama helped them. Helped Iran get them down. In fact, they sent was it Obama sent billions of dollars on what was it, skids of money to American money to them, because it was more useful American money to them over in Iran to keep them all locked up. You know, the whole Arab Spring was about spreading Islam, really.
Now, the people of Iran are celebrating. They're thankful to America, thankful to Israel, thankful to President Donald Trump for getting rid or attempting to get rid of the Islamic regime. You see, Trump promised the people of Iran weeks.
Yeah, their leader's gone and they're falling apart, and a lot of them are turning on them, and they're starting to take the other side. So it's just a matter of a few days at most.
And weeks ago to keep protesting.
Probably not even that
was
long.
On the way, and for a long time, it seemed like, well, what are we negotiating? The negotiations are stalling, yada, yada, yada. Well, it's now been announced that this actual...
Seems like their missiles are all taken out. All they have is the drones now. And they aren't working against the American sites because they get shot down. So they're trying to shoot them against Dubai and Saudi Arabia, which Saudi Arabia said, oh, we're getting up in the air. And they're shooting them down now. So, you know, Qatar, they're hitting a few places there, you know, with these drones.
Plan, a joint U.S.-Israeli operation, had been being planned months in advance. This was planned months ago, and the date of the strike was announced weeks ago. So as people were kind of getting anxious and also getting riled up, but also at the same time saying, well, what are we negotiating? Like, this negotiation process is going nowhere. What are we waiting for? What America and Israel were waiting for was the exact right time to strike. This was their plan all along. The Islamic regime is a brutal, oppressive, and repressive regime. They slaughtered tens of thousands of their own people simply for protesting, shooting them in the face, going into hospitals, raiding hospitals to kill people who are still attached to medical equipment. You can go find the videos. We saw them I posted them, I talked about it for weeks. And the loudest critics of the US and Israeli action, military action in Iran right now, they never said a word about what the Islamic regime was doing. They never spoke out one time for the people of Iran, the Iranian people who don't want that regime leading them. Now, everything that's going on with Iran right now is extremely complex. Every country in the Gulf has been hit by a ballistic missile except for Oman. The UAE has now joined forces with Israel and the United States. The UAE has said,
well, since then, Oman's been hit,
that Iran fired a ballistic missile that violates their sovereignty and that they have a right to respond. And I promise you guys that within the next 48 hours, almost every country in the region that is involved in this is going to turn on Iran. Iran's currently doing everything they can. They're throwing almost everything they have at everyone. Saudi Arabia, Jordan, UAE, Kuwait, like all of these places, Iran is attacking them. All of this while America and Israel are dropping bombs.
It's the only place they can get their drones to without getting them shot down.
Nonstop. It's being reported, and it has been confirmed, that multiple leaders within the Iranian government and the IRGC have been assassinated. They have been taken out. It's also being reported that Israel, at least...
a lot of people say it's goats there, Tammy. 72 goats.
What Israel has told Axios, or what Axios has reported, is that Israel is targeting Khamenei, that they have launched strikes and assassination attempts on the top leaders of the Islamic regime. So again, what started as a preemptive strike by Israel has now turned in a matter of hours into a full-blown regional war. And the Islamic regime of Iran is crumbling. They have nothing left.
Yep, Tammy. Who's replying to you? A message here. Yeah. Here we go. Here they're celebrating. They blurred their faces. So tonight, a lot of the regime people have been going out with guns and just gunning people down, trying to keep them out of the street because they were celebrating. They've been tearing down his signs and everything, his statues and. Yep. Here's Tommy Robinson. Too bad Colin's not here.
Every time there's a revolution brewing, I see the women. They're the real people fighting for women's rights. As I'm in the United States, it looks like the bombs are about to start dropping with Iran. You need to remember a few things when the bombs do start dropping. Iran is a terrorist, jihadist regime.
They are jihadists.
They're murderers. They wanted to assassinate Donald Trump. They planned to...
They don't just hide there. They export it all around the world.
To assassinate Donald Trump. They've enslaved an entire nation. 70, 80, whatever it is, 90 million Iranians are enslaved. They've got their foot on their necks. They're terrorizing them. They've murdered tens and tens and tens of thousands of civilians, butchering women, killing them for wanting to have the...
Really? Really, Heather? They're claiming that? There's probably like a handful. I don't know. Probably a regime people that are paid to do it. And then they got a bunch of leftists that'll go out there with them. I already seen them in the streets of D.C. today. It won't last very long. They'll run out of money.
Freedom to show their hair. This is not Iraq. It's not Afghanistan. In Afghanistan, 99% of them want Sharia law. So if you took out the Taliban, they're coming back anyway because the people want that. Yeah, that's a whole different kettle of fish with Iran. Now, I know people don't want Western intervention. I know they don't. But Iran, sitting there as this power structure and this jihadist state, funds Hezbollah, funds the Houthis, funds Hamas. All of these conflicts, all of these wars, all of this hatred, all of this...
And the people there want the freedom there.
Terrorism, it all comes from Iran. If the Ayatollah falls, and if the Ayatollah does fall and this war goes on, then democracy comes out. Because they want democracy, they want freedom. It's not the same as the rest of the countries in the Middle East. So don't think it is. It's never going to be a clean path. But if they want democracy, then they need stability. So maybe someone comes in and steps in stability, but it should be left to the Iranian people. I'm not Iranian, so I can't tell you. I do have an opinion who I think should lead that country, but that's my opinion. I'm not Iranian, so I'm not even going to give you it. It's down to the Iranian people to decide who leads them. But for everyone, if the bombs do start, because so many people are against war, I'm against war. But I'm not against taking out the Ayatollah. I'm not. I'm for the freedom of those people. And also, it's for our benefit in the West. It's for Americans' benefit. It's for everyone of your benefit. Okay? Because all of those proxy groups, all of those terrorist groups, do you know what they chant in schools in Iran? Death to America, death to America. It's all about death to America. And then you see certain commentators in the United States who side with the Islamic regime. It's insanity. They hate you. They absolutely hate you. They play a very good propaganda war. But that's just, as I see, I'm just reading on my phone and it looks like war's about to start. So many people are going to come out. But make sure you understand the difference between going to war with the Ayatollah of Iran and what happened previously in Afghanistan and Iraq. The entire world will be a better place. I want them to have freedom. I really want them to have freedom. I've watched every single time. Every time there's a revolution brewing, I see the women. They're the real people fighting for women's rights. Not the feminists walking around with funny hats in the United States talking nonsense. So they are the real fighters, and they're still out now on the streets. And you know, the Ayatollah and the Islamic regime that's enslaving them, we in the West played our part in that. We in the West played our part. So there's a historical wrong that needs to be made right. And that's where the country's at. That's where the world's at. And I know people are saying, oh, you want war, you want war. I want the freedom for those people, but it's also a benefit for us, all of us. The world's a better place. That will be a Western ally. It'll be an American-loving country right there. They love the West. Iranians love the West. You won't meet better people. Meet all the people that fled the Iranian regime. Assimilated, integrated, great people. So, just my thoughts as the bombs look like they're about to stop bombing. It's never going to be a straight path when there's a war, but I really, really pray that if this is about to go off, that they get wiped out and that the people rise up and they experience freedom. Do you know, I met people since I've been here, talking to them about freedom. Think about this. I said, what's it like? And the lady described it as, it's like being a bird and the bird's wings are tied behind their back. And when she stepped down in America, her wings opened. These women, they deserve freedom. Everyone deserves freedom. But some don't want freedom. Okay? The rest of the Middle East don't want it.
Hey, Tammy.
The Persians do. So,
guess Tammy's here.
Prayers for everyone. And I'll keep my eye on
you. Hey, Kurt.
God bless.
Okay. Next one. A lot of these are short. Delete that one. Some don't have sound. I think that's the one that took them out right there. Bunker Buster. Actually, that guy needed to go 47 years ago. You know what the country... Let's see if I can find that clip. Here it is. I'm going to show you what Iran was like 47 years ago before Islam took over. That's pictures from Iran and the way it was 47 years ago. As soon as they came in, it was, you know, they weren't Islam then, you know.
Breaking news, Israel just bombed Iran. Finally, help is on the way. After almost 50 years of screaming death to America and death to Israel. After almost 50 years of holding the world hostage with its terrorist proxies. After almost 50 years of murdering and oppressing its own citizens. This will hopefully finally be the end of the Islamic Republic. Now, I am hoping that innocent civilians both in Iran and in Israel are able to stay safe through all of this. Reports are showing that Israel is in a state of emergency. A lot of Israelis have gone into bomb shelters to prepare for a retaliation strike. And in Iran, there are videos coming out of people in the streets cheering for the jets flying overhead because they are striking the IRGC and government officials. Some people are calling this a preemptive strike from Israel, but I can't see how that could be the case given that the Islamic Republic bombed...
Actually, it wasn't a bomb. They used a drone and hit Dubai. That's the only thing they've been able to get out into areas that aren't protected very well. Pat, I talked to people in Iran and Kurdistan and all those areas. Or Egypt, all of them.
Israel last year. This isn't them starting a war. This is them finally standing.
Yeah, I'm pushing 70. I do remember that. When I remember Carter. I could have voted against Carter the first time. I definitely voted against him the second time. My first vote could have been against Carter, and I didn't vote the first time. I was 16 then, you know.
Up to the regime and finishing what Iran started in 1979. It's unclear as I'm filming this as to whether the US is involved in these strikes or not, but we will see what happens as things unfold and we get more clarity. But God, I hope that we are. Because not only does this mean that Trump is keeping his promise to the Iranian revolutionaries that help was on the way, but this also means that the US is finally sending the message that we are
I just had a video on from Tommy Robinson. I got one more a little later.
Standing up for ourselves, and we are not going to tolerate threats from pathetic dictatorships.
Yep. Where am I here? I lost track. Oh, here we are. It's one of their government buildings took out. This will probably be over shortly because a lot of people are leaving the regime and quitting on them. The only problem they're having is their own people are shooting them if they try to leave. That's the only real problem. You give it 12, 24 hours max.
When dreaming, got it to all the world, time and time.
It's American training video. I thought I'd throw it in there.
At sunrise, I fight to stay asleep, 'cause I don't want to leave the comfort. Oh,
the best defense is the best offense. You know?
This place, 'cause there's a hunger, a longing to escape.
I tried to get into all the militaries but the Air Force. I didn't care that much for heights.
From the life I live when I'm away. So let's go there. Let's make our escape. Come on, let's go there. Let's us can we stay.
We have the best technology and the best trained Air Force or military.
Can you take me higher?
None better in the world. It's the best defense too. We make it so that they don't even try. Here's an alert.
We are prepared for.
This is the alarm, by the way, that we all get on our phones here in Doha when there's an urgency. And so the National Emergency Alert System has gone off here in Qatar. The Defense Ministry in Qatar announcing just a short while ago that an Iranian missile has been intercepted here in Qatar, warning citizens basically to take shelter. Let's bring in Alan Fisher in Washington, D.C. Apologies, there's a bit of chaos in the newsroom, as you can imagine, because this is also happening here in Qatar. Our emergency systems going off here.
Let me finish this. Comment here. Marianne. Okay. I know these are all real short clips, so pretty much is what I got.
Bam, 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 Iran.
I do not own the rights to the music, in case they give me a music strike.
Went to a mosque, gonna throw some rocks. Tell the Ayatollah, gonna put you in a box.
Old choice.
Uncle Sam's getting pretty hot.
Yeah, Reagan was my first president I voted for, too. I was about the same age, 1980. I think you're the exact same age, Kurt.
Time to turn Iran into a
No, I would have been 24. I just turned 24. By the time I voted. Any drones on the U.S. targeted? I think we've pretty much taken any out. We have the electronics that can take them out with a microwave technology. We can knock them down. So they're hitting a lot of these other countries that would normally be on their side. The only one they're not hitting is Turkey, and Turkey is kind of on their side, but they know better to go against us. Oh, the scammers! Yeah, I got you. And there's a lot of truck drivers from India that are really bad, and they got these trucking companies here in America. Oh, they're terrible, Marianne.
Here's your third update for the strikes on Iran. Ghulam Hossein Mohseni Ajay, the head of the judiciary in Iran, was eliminated. He gave the death sentence to thousands of protesters, and now he is gone. There are
not just a death sentence, but the way they tortured a lot of them to death was unbelievable. How they tortured some of them to death there. Some of the Kurdish people had to suffer through that, and they sometimes they would torture them in a way that would last for 4 or 5 days in pain.
Many reports of riots in Tehran
Serious
now,
pain.
and many of the Persian people and others are taking to the streets to fight for their country. Reza Pahlavi earlier gave a speech about how he will be in constant contact with his people of Iran to ensure they know when to stay sheltered and safe and when to continue the direct fight. I don't know if that's what they're doing or if people are...
Yeah, they have hardly any laws on the driving. They drive on the wrong side of the street and everything. And they got these cafes, internet cafes. That's where they do a lot of their scamming. They're actually over in India and in South Africa. Those are 2 places.
Just being motivated. Iran has shut down the internet and cellular services, of course, so he is using radio waves and I'm sure other means to talk with them. If this isn't a video right here that makes you emotional and proud of and for the Persian people, I don't know what to tell you. Here's women.
I think at some point Fetterman's going to either become independent or switch parties, you know. He's starting to get his brain back. He had a stroke like me, and he had a lot of trouble. He had to read everything and understand what was being said to me. Mine was the other way around a little bit. My son's is the other way around. Just can't understand reading. You can understand being talked to.
Laughing on a rooftop in Tehran, and really not just laughing. You could feel their joy when they saw the Supreme Leader compound get hit.
Absolutely. I've been talking to Iranian people the last day, or since a lot the last day, but some before that. And they're tremendously happy about this.
Yeah, take a look. There was reports of this large smoke plume in Tel Aviv being a confirmed missile hit. This is actually fake news. This was from a bus fire that was hours before any strikes even happened. The Houthis announced that they will join the campaign, so... Ooh. Qatar has intercepted an Iranian missile. Yes, you heard that right.
Good way to get rid of the Houthis. In fact, the Houthis aren't going to have any money once Iran's gone.
Qatar intercepted it. Meanwhile, Iran is currently launching missiles at everyone. Bahrain, UAE, Qatar. Many civilian casualties are likely to be incoming, unfortunately, because their missiles are awful and they're not really... They're kind of just crashing out right now, and they are just...
Kirk, I want to scum out too.
Aiming at everyone. Jordan, too, was hit, I believe, and the IRGC just wants to piss everyone off, it seems. The evil Islamic Republic murders their own indeed. But some will have you believe they wouldn't do it to the United States if they had the chance. We can't allow them to ever have...
Actually, if the Kurds can get them out of the area of Syria and they get the Houthis out, they'll take care of them themselves.
That chance. Anyways, as for the explosions in Bahrain, it seems to be confirmed that the U.S. base was hit, but luckily it seems to be in an open area, so no damage or casualties. Here's the hit in Abu Dhabi.
Oh, Gregory, with your bikinis. I think a lot of the Kurdish women would wear them, and they'd look good in them.
An Iranian app for tracking Muslim prayer times has been hacked. Messages are encouraging IRGC members to defect, and they say protect your compatriots, and they will protect you in return. Another message says help has arrived. Another, it's the time for reckoning. Airspace clearing after strikes by the United States and Israel and Iran. A lot of airspace clearing in the Middle East. There has been some videos from Israel showing missiles headed their way, and so far it appears the Israeli air defense is working very well, and most have been intercepted. Not all. I've read about some open field hits. Again, everything is changing by the second, so just as I'm filming this. Here are Iranian teens cheering and celebrating the U.S. Israeli strikes as they watch the Islamic regime strongholds go up in smoke, screaming, I love Trump.
Omar's not born here. She can't run for president, right? She can't, Pat, she can't run.
And here is the bomb shelter in central Israel this morning, and Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and, you know, it's amazing. Everyone, keep your high spirits and stay safe.
I sure hope so, Marianne, they take her out. Let me grab the next one. These are all shorts. All right. Let me explain that thing with the hand. That's the international thing for help. This is before the bombing happened. These are Iranian women. They always let their hair grow real long. They always have to cover it up all the time. That's part of the reason. Here's Gutter. Watch this missile thing.
साइड पे हो जाओ, साइड पे भागो।
Actually, the way that came down, I think that was shot out of the air and then it just fell on the land. They're just shooting everything they got. And from what I'm hearing, at max, they can shoot for about 3 days, and then they're going to run out of supplies.
Oh my God.
And Trump's cut them off from getting much of anything in supplies anymore.
Guys, look at other. Look at other. Look at other. Look at other. Anything here? Oh my God. बिल्कुल मेरे रूम के सामने.
That's Gutter again. All right, this is Michigan, Dearborn, Michigan. You wouldn't believe already how bad it is there in Michigan. They already put a Mecca thing up and stuff like that. We've got to stop it here. We're going to breed extremists here, actually.
بأجواء مفعمة بالإيمان والفرح نظمت الهيئة النسائية في المجمع الإسلامي الثقافي في مدينة ديربون الأمريكية فعالية تعليمية تحت عنوان رحلة الحج للأطفال، وذلك ضمن الأنشطة الصيفية الهادفة إلى ربط الناشئة بالقيم الإسلامية وبأسلوب تفاعلي. استهدفت الفعالية الأطفال من عمر 4 سنوات إلى 10 وهدفت تعريفهم بمناسك الحج بشكل مبسط وجذاب يجمع بين الشرح النظري والتجربة الحسية.
They have these Islamic centers that they're setting up on all these different cities so they can bring up their kids Islamic and in their schools to hate us. They're not creating the greatest scientists, they're creating the biggest haters, is what they're doing. It's warm at 62 to me. Spring's coming.
حيث تنقل الأطفال بين 5 محطات.
And all those NGOs are getting tax-free money from us taxpayers. We're paying the taxes on it. Look at all these young Muslims. 2nd generation, 3rd generation, they're having tons of kids. We're not doing that. We're transing our damn kids.
رئيسية تحاكي أبرز مناسك الحج بإشراف فريق من المعلمات والمتطوعات. محطة الإحرام ارتدى الأطفال لباس الإحرام وتعلموا نية الحج والتلبية. محطة الطواف طافوا حول مجسم الكعبة المشرفة مرددين الأدعية. محطة السعي بين الصفا والمروة جسدوا قصة السيدة هاجر عليه السلام ورقدوا بين نقطتين تمثلان الصفا والمروة. محطة عرفة جلسوا للدعاء والتأمل وتعرفوا على فضل يوم عرفة.
محمد وآل محمد الحمد لله الذي ليس لقضائه دافع ولا لعطائه مانع ولا كصنعه صنع صانع وهو الجواد الواسع.
لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك.
Coming to your city.
إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم.
محطة رمي الجمرات استخدم الأطفال كرة رمزية لرمي الشيطان.
You see, you already got mayors that aren't Islamic mayors. They're trying to get rid of dogs in their areas to invite more Islam into their areas so they can vote Democrat. That's what they're trying to do. They actually don't want America.
تعلما من قصة النبي إبراهيم عليه السلام، كان لهذه الفعالية أهداف عدة، منها تبسيط مفاهيم الحج بأسلوب يناسب إدراك الأطفال، ترسيخ القيم الروحية مثل الصبر والطاعة والتواضع، تعزيز التفاعل من خلال المحاكاة العملية والأنشطة الحركية.
لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك.
I think a bummer is a Muslim.
معكم أمل هاشم من المجمع الإسلامي بأمريكا على شيفر. اليوم حبينا نعمل
They got their own Mecca right there in Dearborn, Michigan.
نشاط للأولاد بمناسبة الحج. حبينا نوصلهم فكرة الحج عبر نشاط صغير بنينا لهم كعب.
How much of those kids are paid for with our tax dollars? Are supported with our tax dollars, do you think? How many of those kids?
عملنا مراسم الحج، الصفا والمروة، رجم الشياطين، ولحتى بس نرسخ لهم بذاكرتهم انه هن عاشوا قصة الحج وعاشوا كيف بصير المراسم الحج، وبتروح معاهم يعني throughout years وهيك بتذكروها انه هن عاشوا الحجاج شو بيعملوا بالسعودية، وشرحنا لهم نحن عن قصة الحج كيف بتبلش وكيف بلشت وشو فائدة الحج للمسلم.
والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك.
فاطمة هاشم من اللجنة النسائية للمجمع الإسلامي الثقافي. المجمع هون بإمامة الشيخ باكر بري والأمين العام الحاج أكرم بزة بيحبوا دائما يكونوا سباقين بإعداد الأمور اللي بتفيد الجالية وبتفيد الناس وبتفيد الأولاد وبتعلمهم مراسم الحج، وحبينا نعمل هيدي الأمور لحتى يتعلم الأولاد بيكون عندهم فكرة تضل ببالهم لبعدين كيف الحج بيكون وشو الهدف من الحج.
Pat, I can't really talk about it, but we know of some sleeper cells. We got an eye on what they're doing, okay? Europe's got a much worse problem with the sleeper cells than we do here now. Trump's done a good job since he's got in, and they've clamped down on a good 300 or 400 we got out. There's probably 100 or 200 we know of besides that, other possibility ones.
وكيف الله بيجازي الإنسان وبيرجعه كما ولد من بطن أمه. إن شاء الله نكون عم نعطي الجالية حقهم وعم نعطي الأولاد حقهم وعم نكمل الرسالة اللي وصانا فيها النبي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم.
These sleeper cells, they'll talk, you know, and so if you can get into their messages, I got people that can translate almost any language. I know one woman who's Kurdish, she can speak 13 languages, and receive their messages and return them in, and then they take it from there, you know. So Trump's people are a lot better on it. During Biden, you go to jail practically if you turn them in.
لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة.
أنا هيام بزة من اللجنة النسائية بالمجمع الإسلامي. نسعى دائما ونعمل نشاطات مختلفة لأبناء الجالية ونعرفهم على دينهم من كل النواحي، وحبينا هيدي المرة نعمل نشاط الحج اللي هو حج بيت الله الحرام بكل مفاهيمه وبكل معاني، وإن شاء الله نكون وصلنا الهدف المطلوب.
We're talking about taking over America.
اللي كانوا موجودين. السلام عليكم.
They're teaching them this so they take over America. They're trying to convert them all in these colleges, all with this free Palestine bull.
لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة.
I don't know what Chad think. Some people are saying it's going to be Kamala Harris and AOC on the same ticket.
لك والملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك.
That's where they should go, John.
لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك.
They're building like almost one mosque a day here in America, I guess. Almost one a day.
إن الحمد والنعمة.
Who's funding all that?
والملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك
Illegals coming up on the southern border didn't like
والنعمة لك والملك لا.
That's the future of America if we don't stop it. It's pretty sick.
When are you going back to Iran?
I reckon sometime next week or maybe a week after, but it's sometime soon. I'm pretty sure it's sometime soon.
Whenever the regime changes, I really want to see my father. It's been 7 years and my father has not seen actually my son.
Hasn't met him.
They haven't seen my father, my sister, my brother. They haven't seen my two sons. And I
have been very surprised with all the Iranian people I talk to, how well they speak English and other languages. They'll speak Farsi and the Iranian language. I forgot what that was, and English pretty well.
I really want them to see like their grandson.
You haven't been?
No, I haven't been.
You're planning to go do that?
Hopefully one day. Yeah.
Can I come and can you get me some?
And I'll get you a photo. I'll put you right next to me.
When are you going to go?
After this finishes and like all the drama is gone and like when Iran is safe again and King Reza comes back.
Are you going to take me along with you? The main reason why I'm here today, besides for supporting your cause, is that I'm actually trying to link up with people that can take me to good restaurants in Tehran in a few weeks. Do you know some good places you can take me to?
Of course. That would be our honor to do for a lovely person like you, Avi, that you have been present not only for this cause, but even during COVID. I've been following you. You are amazing. Thank you for everything.
I feel like this trip to Tehran that I take, I'm going to end up very, very fat.
All right, here's a clip on why the Iranians are protesting to remove this sicko.
مثل گاو و گوسفنده که خدا اینها را خلق کرده برای اینکه
وسیله غذای مردم. Out of the way and then start it. Ready? Let's see if we can get there. About cows and sheep. Well, what he's saying, I know my thing's in the way. Let me get this out of the way a little bit. They're saying that cows and sheep are better than the women, and the men should treat the women less than their cows and sheep.
مثل گاو و گوسفنده که خدا اینها را خلق کرده برای اینکه وسیله غذای مردم باشه و یک قسم حیوان خلق کرده و اون زنها و خانم‌ها هستن. اینا عین گاو و گوسفند هستن، حیوان هستن، و خدا خلقشون کرده برای استفاده مردها، فقط واسه که مردا وحشت نکنن. این زنها را به شکل خود انسان خلق کرده، اگر نه اینها عین همون گاو و گوسفند و عین همون اسب و شتر و الاغ هستن.
They're putting women down like less than cows and mules. Unbelievable. This is one of the hits on the missile things. Bye-bye. Didn't get that missile off. From what I'm hearing, they've pretty much taken out all the missile sites. And talking to some of the Kurdish people I've talked to, they've been able to get them before they could get them set up. Because a lot of the missile things are mobile now, you know? This is Saudi Arabia is getting into the battle. They're protecting those skies so America doesn't have to do it and they can do other duties.
ليدر شيخا له القاسي لي
Marianne, I bet you those are our tax dollars. I just wrote it in chat there. I bet you those are our tax dollars for those trucks.
نه بابا اصلا دویدیلر ها آره چند تا دادم 4 تا نه
took out
شنیدی برو عقب
I guess they're bye dead
الان 6 تا برو با این هست شنیدی؟ مثلا دویله همه ای سالونا دارم میزنن ولی مثلا تو میترکه ها؟ میگم از تو داره میترکه
I second that, Greg. They're not welcome
یعنی میزنه سخت بلند میشه باش پاسکو بلگایدی
Tell them you're number one, huh, Pat? Which way did you turn your hand on that one? That was a good one, Pat.
تماشا موشکانه کن موشک ها لا روح مو موشكي
As far as I've been told, not one of their missiles are getting through. Now, a couple of them have been hit, and then they do hit, the debris hits the ground some, but they're not getting to their destinations.
موشكانه برار ويقفل لك
Surface to air missiles. USA's launching these.
الله أكبر كفو 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 هيا
knocking out all the sort of like the Patriot missiles. They're knocking out all the missiles coming at us. Yeah, here's a good one.
Good morning from Israel, where millions of us are currently sat in bomb shelters whilst our beloved country, along with the United States of America, currently attacks the Islamic regime that has been occupying Iran for 47 years too long. So far, there have been strikes in Tehran, Qom, Isfahan, Karaj, and Kermanshah, targeting the Intelligence Ministry, the Defense Ministry, the Atomic Energy Agency, the Presidential Palace, and even Khamenei's own office. Whilst it is reported that Khamenei is deep underground in a bunker like a pussy, hiding, we're receiving reports that there are already mass IRGC casualties, including Amir Hatami, the Commander-in-Chief of the Army of the Islamic Republic of Iran.
I hear you, John.
And Ghulam Hussein Mohseni, the head of the judiciary of the Islamic
bothers me when it's coming out of her tax dollars.
Republic of Iran, who is personally responsible for sending protesters to their death by hanging in recent months. To the good people of Iran, just know that us, the Israelis, would happily sit in bomb shelters indefinitely if it meant that the people of Iran might finally be free, so that your people can enjoy the same beauty and the same freedom that we in Israel know and love. The entire Middle East will be changed for the better once this tyrannical 7th century murderous regime crumbles and is wiped from the face of the earth completely. So to the good people of Iran, we are praying for you, truly. And to my fellow Israelis, stay safe, stay vigilant, and adhere to the home front commands. Prepare for the next few weeks to be very high in.
UN's got a lot of Islam controlling a lot of it. China's controlling one of the boards.
Intensity.
Shouldn't be
Stay safe. I'm Yisrael Chai and I'm Persia Chai. The time is now.
I hear you. She's Persian, actually. Actually, a lot of Persians were Christians, actually, most of them.
The dismantling of the Islamic regime has begun. You're going to see online a bunch of anti-war humanitarians saying how terrible this is. Don't buy into it. The people of Iran are celebrating. This is what they've been praying for. This is what they've been asking for. They've been held hostage by this Islamic regime for 47 years. Not so long ago, a couple weeks ago, thousands of them were massacred on the streets like dogs. The Islamic Republic has blood on its hands. And this, the bombs falling, those are sounds of freedom for the people of Iran. What some of these anti-war people don't understand is that war isn't something that people want, but it's necessary at times.
It is necessary sometimes. It was definitely important to get rid of Hitler.
What I can say is new right now. We're just getting word that the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia says they will join the U.S. in the operation against the Islamic Republic of Iran. They said that this comes in the way.
Really stupid to be sending their drones at Saudi Arabia and all that kind of stuff. Saudi Arabia wasn't attacking them.
Wake of Iran attacking the U.S. base in Saudi Arabia. I just spoke to a senior U.S. official who said the Iranians made a big mistake by firing on Arab coalition partners. Now they are likely to respond. So by Iran firing missiles at UAE, Bahrain, Qatar, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia.
I don't know about Russia. China would make more of a difference, Charles, than Russia. Actually, the technology Russia has isn't that great, you know. Look at Ukraine, you know.
And Jordan,
not comparatively.
They are now likely to fire back at Iranian targets. So those coalition partners are now going to enter this operation that started off as a U.S.-Israeli operation. That is very, very significant, and we haven't seen that happen in the past. The U.S. military has been focusing on high-value targets, I'm told, the IRGC, significant facilities.
Yep. Wasn't ready for the next video. Sorry. There we go. I forgot. Oh. These are the Iranian women. What they're doing now. Actually, I think this is a little bit older, but that's just what they've been doing. They're not supposed to smoke there. They're supposed to cover up their thing, and you can be killed for doing this to the picture of the Khomeini there. I guess that's what they think of him. Oh, she gives him the finger too. I guess that works in English or in Iranian, right? Goes boom. That was a big one.
Yes, we are going to war with Iran. No, this is not another opportunity for you guys to
It's going to be about 48 hours, I think, and then it'll be over.
display your bizarre obsession with Jews. You don't need to like Israel, but if you like any aspect of the luxuries that you have living in Western society, then you need to realize that radical Islam is and has always been a threat to your own existence. President Trump campaigned on not letting Iran build nuclear weapons in 2016 and 2020 and again in 2024. But what did Iran do in 2026? They built nuclear weapons. If you have any survival instinct whatsoever and are familiar with the 60,000 terrorist attacks conducted by radical Islam since 9/11, you will.
I think the war helps us because it gets rid of Iran, and they're 90% of the terrorism, and they want to kill us too.
Will realize that it is time to neutralize this threat and make sure that Iran never holds a nuclear weapon.
Yeah, not as much. Even the nuclear thing, the funding of all the terrorism. I think we could shoot down the nuclear bombs, but they also threaten other countries around them with it. nuclear bombs as well, because they'll take them all out. They want to rule the world, actually.
Operation Epic Fury, an absolute success, a total necessary measure. And if anybody tells you differently, some of these so-called influencers and these top podcasters who come from cable news backgrounds where they read off teleprompters written for them by producers who were sending a message, they don't know what they're talking about. You were warned last summer that if we attacked Iran, it would be World War III. That didn't happen. You were told that if we went in and got Maduro, it was going to be World War III. Well, that didn't happen.
I hear you.
And now you've been warned again. Oh my God, this is going to be an epic mistake.
They don't like
that
us.
ain't going to happen either. They'll tell you that it's a distraction, that Trump is doing this because he's trying to distract from the Epstein files, which is absolutely asinine. Anybody who listens to that sort of thing is just crazy. You know what a distraction would be? The Iranians have been trying, and successfully in some cases, destroy American life. They have killed Americans. They have chanted death to America. And although we went in June of last year and tried to obliterate everything we possibly could in Iran, maybe there was some stuff left over. Whatever it is, this time, the Iranian regime, which has killed tens of thousands of its own people, these Islamic nuts, do you have any idea what they want to do to you, let alone what they're doing to their own people? Trump vowed to make America great again. He vowed to make America rich again. And he vowed to keep us safe again. And he is hitting every single one of those spots. Spot on. God bless our troops. God bless the President of the United States. And may every last Islamic scumbag in Iran see that there are no virgins waiting. Talk to you soon.
Actually, Russia helped. What came together was the Marxist and Islam to take over Iran, and that's where all this really got started because of Carter. You had to be nice to everybody and all that bull crap, you know. You had to be see all sides and this and that. His peace accords and this and that was terrible. It just made it worse.
Will you make a public commitment today to rule out U.S. regime change in Cuba?
Regime change?
Yes.
Oh, no, I think we would love to see the regime there change.
I agree with that.
The president just mistook the two countries for each other, correct? Yeah, he meant to say Greenland, but I think we're all familiar with presidents that have verbal stumbles. We've had presidents like that before. Some made a lot more than this.
Next, yeah.
Bombing a capital, blockading a country, and removing elected officials.
We didn't remove an elected official. We removed it.
Actually, I think it's a lot more than 34,000 Christians. They want to kill them all.
Someone who was not elected, and it was actually an indicted drug trafficker in the United States.
Are you the lead for U.S. government on foreign policy?
No. The lead on U.S. foreign policy is named Donald J. Trump, the president.
You know, there's actually still Christians there, Mr. Fixer. And they've had to pretend to be Islam. You know, as soon as this is over with here, Christianity's going to come back to Iran, back probably in a big way. A lot of the ones that were Muslim under their regime aren't Muslim anymore because they got so extreme.
The United States.
We have not received any information on the Board of Peace. Do you commit to informing us about what the heck this is?
Yeah, it's a Board of Peace.
What is your criteria for returning to a military option and putting boots on?
Well, I don't recall the president saying he's going to put troops in Venezuela. Where did he say that?
I'm asking you, what are your...
But that's what you said. I didn't remember
the president has already said that he was ready to put American troops in Venezuela.
No, I think the president has said that he retains the right as commander-in-chief to protect the United States against any imminent threats. Maybe that involves troops. Maybe that involves air power. We hope, but we don't anticipate that being the case in Venezuela.
The more of Marco Rubio I see, the more I like him. He is absolutely one of the most competent people in Trump's administration, and he just effortlessly runs circles around ignorant Democrats and the media. It's nice to see someone competently answer question after question after question and answer them honestly. I personally want to see Marco Rubio involved in politics on the right for a long time. I'm loving what I'm seeing from Marco Rubio. You know, I just appreciate competence. I like competence. That man is competent. How I'm feeling right now, him and JD Vance on a ticket, I don't care who's president, I don't care who's vice president. It's hard for me to see anybody on the left that can match that. I don't know anyone on the left that can match those two intellectually. Like, the left isn't known for intellectuals. But anyway, like I said, loving what I'm seeing from Marco Rubio. Anyway, that's all I got for now. Don't forget, I have a free email newsletter. I send this out every morning around 7 a.m. Central.
All right, this one is a couple days old, but it was pertinent to this subject.
Something just happened in the heart of Tehran that the Iranian,
actually about a week old,
regime does not want you.
And this happened, and that's how they figured out where he was, and they were able to see the insides and everything. You'll see.
To know about. Armed fighters from the opposition just stormed the security perimeter of Supreme Leader Khamenei's personal headquarters, breaching fortified walls defended by 8,000 elite Revolutionary Guard soldiers. And it gets even more explosive because reports have now been confirmed that President Trump has been presented with assassination plans targeting Khamenei, meaning regime decapitation is officially on the table. Khamenei is reportedly hiding in a secret bunker. His own Islamic Revolutionary Guard are on their heels, and civilians in the capital are sheltering opposition fighters from regime death squads. Make sure to stick with the very end of this video because what I'm about to show you is proof that the Iranian regime is not just weakening, it appears to be collapsing, and a coup may now be inevitable. Getting word that armed fighters from the People's Mujahideen Organization of Iran, better known as the MEK, launched a coordinated military-style assault.
Well, the MEK is really socialist, actually, so we really don't want them to take over in the end. But
and the Motahari complex in downtown Tehran. That's the personal headquarters of Supreme Leader Ayatollah.
The MEK and the Islamists are the ones that took over the country together. And the Islam killed a lot of them after the fact. But they are socialist. The regular Persians and the Kurdish and all that, they aren't socialist. And that's the ones we would prefer to have them. The one that the king, it would be the king's son now, that would be taking over temporarily until they have elections. He would run it until the elections. What they would set up in like 8 months or something.
Ali Khamenei. And this was not some lone wolf attack or symbolic protest. This was reportedly a multi-target military operation with multiple strike teams hitting different locations simultaneously. That's the reports that we're getting. Khamenei's residence, the Guardian Council, the Assembly of Experts, the Intelligence Minister's Office, the Judiciary, the Supreme National Security Council, even the office and residence of Khamenei's son, his designated successor, were all targeted in what appears to be an operation designed to decapitate Iran's entire power structure. Now, here's what makes this assault historically unprecedented. The Motahari complex is, to put it mildly, a fortress, okay? The entire perimeter is surrounded by prefabricated reinforced concrete walls more than 4 meters high, topped with metal anti-drone and anti-projectile barriers. And within the complex, each building has its own enclosed perimeter wall, creating layers within layers of defense. Nearly 8,000 personnel from various military and intelligence units guard the compound. That's more security than that protects the U.S. president, the UK prime minister, and the French president combined. And yet, MEK fighters broke through both perimeters, reached positions within direct assault range of Khamenei's residence, sustained combat for over 12 hours, and 150 fighters who penetrated the second perimeter all escaped safely to their bases by midnight. And we need to think about what that means. If 8,000 elite guards cannot stop opposition fighters from reaching the Supreme Leader's doorstep, either there is massive incompetence or there is internal sabotage. And both of those options spell doom for this regime. Now, we don't have at this point any confirmed reports of casualties on either side. Again, this is breaking, and we're getting reports that citizens in Tehran have in many cases assisted and provided shelter to the Mujahideen fighters, especially the wounded. Civilians are reportedly hiding opposition fighters from Revolutionary Guard death squads. And what we're seeing here then is the internal side of this classic strategic dual track squeeze that the Trump administration is clamping the Iranian regime with. So what we're seeing is the regime getting squeezed by pressure from both the inside and the outside.
Mr. Fixer, this was in South Park?
Internally and externally. So from the inside, the Islamic Republic.
Yep. So they got close to him a little while back, a week ago or something, and that gave him a lot of intel to know what to do today, actually. So
this is it. This is one of those great moments in history. President Trump has delivered, help has arrived, and God bless the United States and Israel. And to the Iranian people, the lions you are that have been caged by the Islamic Republic for the last 47 years, your time has come. The bells of liberty are toning. Get out there, take back your country from the Ayatollah and the IRGC, make Iran free again, and by making Iran free again, you make Iran great again. I will always stand with you, and I very much look forward to seeing each and every single one of you in a free Tehran when Pahlavi is back on the throne. Javed Shah, Payende Iran.
Yep. This is the one, who was it, Marianne or Pat? Someone was talking about the 500,000 Nigerians, Christians that were killed.
Love the world and you want to see a better world. Your interest is not just free Palestine. I mean, there are more people dying in Nigeria than are dying in Palestine. I can tell you that last year alone, over 500,000 Christians were killed in Nigeria just in 1 year.
Exactly.
And nobody's protesting. The activists are not saying anything. For me, that's hypocrisy. In the north of Nigeria, Christians are being killed daily because the Islamic militants don't want Christians to exist in the north of Nigeria. They want to see a world where there are no Christians at all. And they want to conquer not just Nigeria, they want to conquer Africa, they want to conquer Europe, and they want to conquer America. The younger generation who want to live in a better world must speak out today. And
they're going to conquer us with these open borders.
Calling on all advocates of a free world to.
The open borders is what they're trying to use.
The truth is, what we're seeing in New York with Mamdani being elected, the truth is people need to wake up and realize that they are coming to invade the United States of America.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if the Christians don't wake up, Christians have been saying we shouldn't get involved in politics. We should leave the Bible outside of the political realm. When we preach about marriage, when we preach about abortion, people say keep your Bible to yourself. But the truth is, if we don't say the Bible has to be the foundation of morality for a nation, Islam will take that place.
Yep. Sorry, I wasn't back or yeah.
Well, this is moving at such a fast pace. Just to recap, the US and Israel has commenced strikes against the Islamic regime in Iran. President Trump has now addressed not only his own nation, the world, the Islamic regime, but also the people of Iran directly, essentially saying, this is your chance. You will not get another chance. Take back your country. It's an incredibly emotional speech. He goes through essentially all the reasons why America has decided to undertake military action. And when you hear about what this regime has done, not just to its own people, that's horrific in and of itself, but to the Americans over nearly 50 years, he's gone through specific incidents where they have slaughtered Americans, and there are plenty of them. Again, Israel have just sent out an alert sending people down to bomb shelters. This is the first one. So we now assume that missiles are incoming from Iran. The Islamic regime have retaliated. It's all moving so quickly. I'll continue to bring you what I can. The full President Trump speech I've uploaded as well, so you can watch that too. But we will continue to update you as things happen. But just to recap, President Trump has addressed his nation, the rest of the world, the Islamic regime essentially saying, give up or you will die, and the Iranian people telling them, this is your one chance. Take back your country. You won't get another chance. This is what you want. Make the most of it. And I would say, given what we have seen from the people of Iran over the past 2 months, how incredibly brave they've been, what they've been willing to sacrifice, which is their lives, they will not let him down or themselves down.
I think altogether 4 times they've tried to rise up and throw them out, but they don't have the guns, you know?
It's very emotional. And
this is their best chance for it to happen.
It's exciting, and not in the way, again, that you're warmongering or anyone wants this. Nobody wants this. But this was the only option. The only option. Terrorists don't listen to people being rational, or they don't do deals. They don't keep their word. They kill. They destruct. They annihilate. That's it. It's the only language they understand. So sometimes you have to do that to them for the benefit of everyone. And that is essentially what Donald Trump has laid out in his speech. Watch it in full and stay tuned because we'll keep you updated.
A lot of people with British accents are on there.
One thing I'm going around asking is what's one thing about Iranians that you want the world to know that you think they don't know much about or you think is misunderstood?
Yeah, I feel like the first thing misunderstood is Islam, the main or majority of Iranian people's religion, which is not. So when I moved to Australia, the first question by default was, so you're from Iran and you're Muslim? And the answer is no. Unfortunately, 47 years of Islam being almost forced on our people, on our country, and see what happened to our country. So that would be the first thing that I would say it's misunderstood about Iranian people. And the second is how much we are peaceful. Because again, in the media outlets, they all hear about the Islamic regime of Iran, but they don't know people of Iran. It's different. It's Islamic regime and it's the people of Iran. And we just want peace and freedom, like just the normal human being. We want to be able to walk our dogs. And that's literally forbidden in Iran.
It's illegal to walk dogs in Iran.
It is illegal to, my auntie had a dog and they told her, if we see you walk your dog, we'll shoot your dog and you have to pay for the bullet.
Is it illegal for women to sing in public?
Yes. So the women's voice, basically, as per Islamic law, Sharia, is not allowed. So we're not allowed to sing. We're not allowed to ride motorbikes. We are not allowed to, for a very long time, we were not allowed to be prime minister, presidents, any higher kind of rank in politics as well.
And are women allowed to show their hair in public? Come on, this is a slam dunk.
I mean, come on, we all know the answer to that. Yeah, if I go out like this in Iran, that'll be the last time I'll be seen on the face of the earth. So,
yep, exactly. Now I do watch this guy almost every day. This 2C TV. He's pretty good.
Public, just need to quickly say, for the past few weeks,
he's out of Britain. He's originally from Iran.
I've been telling people to stay calm, be patient. Help is on the way. And there have been a number of people, some with bigger platforms on social media, who kept going around saying Tutsi is lying. President Trump is a coward. Help is not coming. Trump has betrayed the Iranian people. That resulted in people in Iran getting depressed, getting disillusioned, becoming scared, getting paranoid. Every single one of those people who for the past few weeks were going around on social media and on this channel, on the live chat, saying that, F you, F every single one of you. I told you to ignore these people. People in Iran started getting all these stupid statements on social media, and they started to believe that President Trump has betrayed the Iranian people. F every single one of you. I don't need your apologies. I don't need you to say, oh, I'm glad I've been proven wrong that President Trump actually went and attacked the Islamic Republic. No, shut the F up. From now on, sit down and watch 2C TV. Now.
Yep. I kind of watch him almost every day. All right, here's Tommy Robbins again at a rally.
President Trump kept his promise. Thank you. Lots of love, gratitude, and appreciation from all Iranians around the world. This is the final battle.
Oh, that was a short video. I didn't get back. All right. Now this is Iran's been flying drones into hotels and stuff to try to cause issues. I think this is in Dubai or someplace like that. They're trying to, spread the war or whatever. They can't hit American ships or anything like that because they get shot down. So they're able to take the drones and fly them into these buildings and try to cause problems.
So the Muslim POS that claimed he was going to rape me and talks about raping women in New York City, he's been harassing and stalking me via his vehicle, which is a black Honda Accord, an older model, and the license plate number is Jesus David 3140. So that's JJD 3140. And if you see him, please call the police and have this harassing stalker Muslim rapist arrested.
Oh, they'll just let him back out, That's what they'll do. Hold on, I gotta get back over there. On a different tab. Where was I? Alright, that was a Muslim one. Did I show this one? Maybe I did. Oh, there's a different angle of it.
Let's move quickly. Oh my god. Okay, I hope no people there.
Another drone strike. They can fly him like a little plane into him. That's what they're trying to do. They can't seem to attack this otherwise.
This is a woman who was on Epstein Island, and she explains what Bill Gates did there. I want you to listen to this.
پرنده‌های قشنگمون بالاخره اومدن.
Do you know in their country it's illegal to dance or play music?
اومد.
I don't understand the language. I've heard it, but I don't know it. Now this lady has been tortured and escaped and got away from the Islamic regime. She is a commie, but she definitely speaks out against it, and she did experience what they did to her.
This is what Islamic Republic wants me to be. This is what Taliban and ISIS wants us to be. And this is my true self. In Iran, I was told if I take off my hijab, I will be hanged with my hair by God. I'll get kicked out from school. I'll get lashes. I'll get jailed. I'll get fined. I get beaten up in the street every day by morality police. If I get raped, it's my fault. If I take off my hijab, I won't be able to exist as a woman in my homeland. In the West, I am told if I share my stories, then I will cause Islamophobia. I am a woman from the Middle East, and I am scared of Islamic laws. I am scared of all the brutalities that I have experienced. Phobia is an irrational fear, but my fear and the fear of millions of other women who lived under Sharia law in the Middle East is rational. So let us talk.
I have talked to her before. I've never had her on my channel, but I have talked to her. She is kind of a socialist, but she's right about this. All right, this is an interview in Dearborn, Michigan.
Now you have all these Islam men yelling Allah Akbar. I have a question for you guys. If America were to get in a war with a country like Iraq, who would you guys defend, America or Iraq?
We won't get in a war. That's not permissible for us. But at the same time,
who would you defend first?
We would support our brothers in Iraq. That's the only way.
So you wouldn't defend America?
We would not defend America.
But you're Mr. Fixer, the person that's probably going to take over temporarily. I don't know, until they have elections 6-8 months from now. It was the son of the former president of Iran.
But at the same time, listen, at the same time, America is our country because we were born here. But in our Islamic book, we're not allowed to fight with people that are against our religion. So we just take up the jail time.
So you would
That's
not,
what we do.
So you would not defend America?
I would go to jail instead of fighting for America.
And who would you defend if we were to go to war against a country like Iraq again, America or Iraq?
America.
And should that be a troublesome conflict of interest for somebody to be here in America that would rather support another nation like Iraq?
Anybody who supports another nation needs to live in that nation. This is a Christian nation. A lot of the Constitution is based off of the Bible. And how far the country has fallen.
Yep. Some there that would hate America so bad, it's unbelievable.
I'm gonna just say it. I don't understand how you can be a Christian and be a Democrat or a liberal. I don't understand how you can play for the other side. I really don't get it, because there is nothing that they promote that God promotes. First off, name me one thing that the Democrats are for that God is for. Exactly. So what are you doing?
That's a good question.
What are people doing?
I don't know.
You have heard the term chatter. Well, it is increasing. My sources inside the FBI say after these...
That was for sure. It was actually happening a little bit before that. This has to do with sleeper cells in America.
These attacks on Iran...
That they really have a lot of them in Europe. It's worse.
The chatter amongst evildoers,
Canada.
Specifically, the potential sleeper cells here in the United States could be activated by Iran as a way to get back at America. Now, there's no way the Iranian government can reach U.S. soil except through these sleeper cells. So here's my warning to all of you out there. We don't go through our day scared, but we go through our day aware, with your head on a swivel. Just keep your eyes open. This regime will not go down easily. I promise you, President Trump and our United States military will be successful in their quest.
Oh, I think they're going down easily. Their own people, the Kurdish people and the Persians, are going to start taking them out here as soon as they get the green light, once they think the place is softened up enough.
To destroy, and as President Trump said, ultimately obliterate, annihilate
Send them
Iran,
back to their
so the Iranian people can once again have freedom. But we've got to do our part here. Keep your eyes open. Be safe. They're here. Thanks to Joe Biden. He let them in. Now let's make sure that we fight back here
they just care
when the
about
time comes as
control.
well.
That's what they care about, you know.
And you can hear that right now, Griff. Air raid sirens are sounding across Israel's second largest city of Tel Aviv. Stay with me here. Can you grab my vest? Just stay with us, Griff.
Greetings there in Tel Aviv as he puts on his protective wear, the flak jacket there. Sirens are ringing across Tel Aviv. Sirens have rung across Jerusalem. Iran clearly is retaliating. We have seen Israelis going to the bomb shelters. And Trey, a frightening moment there.
Yeah, right now, this is a defining moment. Israeli cities are under attack. And again, we can report to you at this hour, a senior Israeli official tells Fox News that Iran's supreme leader, the Ayatollah Khamenei,
I've been talking to people all day. Not much of anything got through.
And Iran's president, Masoud Pezeshkian, were targeted in these strikes. The Israelis looking to decapitate Iranian leadership, to, as how some described in the planning process, cut the head of the snake. And the Americans supporting the Israelis in these strikes. This was a combined effort to take out Iranian leadership. We, again, don't have the battle damage assessments, but just stay with me here. Okay, you can see right now there's a missile interceptor. And my cameraman's going to stay on it. There's two of them right now soaring through the skies over Tel Aviv. And you can see those lines of white smoke. Those are the interceptors that are currently in the air right now.
Not much got through today. Mostly what came down is after they get hit, the debris comes down and can hit you.
Looking to intercept the incoming Iranian ballistic missile fire. You see, this is live right now as those sirens sounded, millions of people across central Israel are in bomb shelters as the Israelis work to shoot down this incoming Iranian fire. And Griff, it just gives you a sense of how
about the first 3 hours, it was, kind of busy, but after that, it was pretty much taken care of.
All of this is going to be in the hours and days ahead. Again, President Trump overnight making that address, not just to the nation, but to the world. And you can hear the explosions there. Those are interceptors that are successfully shooting down those incoming Iranian ballistic missiles.
Yeah, it really wasn't a big deal, to be honest.
Iran is
This is Saudi Arabia in a 60 Minutes interview. Listen closely to it. Okay?
Iran is not a rival to Saudi Arabia. Its army is not among the top 5 armies in the Muslim world. The Saudi economy is larger than the Iranian economy. Iran is far from being equal to Saudi Arabia.
But I've seen that you called the Ayatollah Khamenei the new Hitler of the Middle East.
Absolutely.
Why?
Because he wants to expand. He wants to
both hate each other. Both it has to do with tribes and Sunni Shia crap. Really is what it has to do with.
Create his own project in the Middle East, very much like Hitler, who wanted to expand at the time. Many countries around the world and in Europe did not realize how dangerous Hitler was until what happened happened. I don't want to see the same events happening in the Middle East.
Does Saudi Arabia need nuclear weapons to counter Iran?
Saudi Arabia does not want to acquire any nuclear bomb. But without a doubt, if Iran developed a nuclear bomb, we will follow suit as soon as possible.
So, you see, if Iran doesn't have them, the other ones don't need them either, Here's an oldie but a goodie.
To the Ayatollahs of Iran and every terrorist you enable, listen up. You might have met our fresh-faced flower child president and his weak-kneed Ivy League friends, but you haven't met America. You haven't met the heartland, where the people will defend this nation with their bloody, calloused, bare hands. That's what it takes. You haven't met the steel workers and the hard rock miners or the swamp folks in Cajun country who can wrestle a full-grown gator out of the water. You haven't met the farmers, the cowboys, the loggers, and the truck drivers. You don't know the mountain men who live off the land or the brave cops who fight the good fight in the urban war zones. No, you've never met America. And you ought to pray you never do.
Yeah. That's an old-timer.
Speak to Dr. Venus Shapari, one of the organisers of this protest from Stage of Freedom. Venus, you were telling me the atmosphere this week is very, very different to previous protests due to what we've seen in Iran this morning.
Yes, that's absolutely true. Thank you for being here. People in Iran are very happy because this was a humanitarian intervention that the United States and Israel, they decided to go ahead with this intervention this morning. People are very happy, despite that President Trump even was saying stay at home to be safe. We can see from the footages just released this morning that people are happy in the streets, celebrating, they're distributing sweet between each other and dancing in the street. The atmosphere is going to be very different. We're just started preparing the demonstration today. We're organized for every Saturdays at the Stage of Freedom. And as you can see, we just started the program. We're going to be marching from here to the Iranian embassy. Our message is very clear to the world and to the United Kingdom government. We expect them to really stand with the Iranian people, stop appeasement with the Iranian people, Iranian regime, because Iranian people are very important what they want.
Yep. All those in chat there, I don't agree with anyone 100% of the time, even my wife, if you can agree with someone 80, 90% of the time, you're doing pretty good. So that's what I would go with. You'll be all by yourself if you have to agree with every single thing with every person, There's more celebrating today. It was scheduled to be a protest, but today it was a celebration. Another one from Tommy Robinson. He filmed it. There's a little short one, another angle from the Dubai one. They did that with a drone, so those drones had, ordnance ends. All right, here's a little humor for everybody.
Assalamu alaikum, bitches. This is your new Supreme Leader speaking. Well, I warned Ali this would happen, and he just kept talking trash like we couldn't Maduro his old ass. Anyway, enjoy your new freedom, people. We're going to have bikini parties, all-you-can-eat buffets, dancing to country music, and singing karaoke all night long. We're going to have the best fiestas with delicious margaritas and sexy mamacitas. If you're a woman, you can finally take off that ridiculous bedsheet these idiots made you wear. You're free to be smart and beautiful and to wear whatever you want. Under my regime, you can now vote, as long as you vote Republican. If you think about it, you can only vote Republican because there will be no Democrat Party here. Everything they touch turns to shit, believe me.
I think you misspelled that, Pat. I don't think you meant P-O-R-N, did you? Check what you wrote. Where was I? Here we go.
Major predominant Arab countries in the region, like Saudi Arabia, are not only condemning Iran for violating their sovereignty, but are now joining with the United States against Iran. It's not just the Kingdom of Saudi, it's also the UAE, Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar. This is truly a historic moment for the Middle East. It's very unprecedented for such countries to turn their back against Islam and to join forces with the Western civilization. The reason majority of these countries have either abandoned their neutrality or have completely turned their back against Iran is because they understand that Iran is the last key player standing between them and peace in the Middle East. And not just peace, but being a prosperous region. Countries like Qatar quickly understood that if they're going to continue being Islamic fanatics, they're never going to have any relationship with the West. Saudi Arabia understood that. Bahrain understood that. Kuwait understood that. All these countries want for themselves is peace and prosperity, which they cannot accomplish with Islamic fundamentalists, which is why they rooted them out of their own country, and what's left is to root them out of the region. And that's exactly how you have Arab countries aligning together with the West to take out an Islamic fanatic country in their region.
Oh, I'm laughing at chat. So, here's a good
Hey friends, buckle up.
Iran.
The US and Israel just launched strikes against Iran. And while everyone is staring at the explosions in Tehran, I want you to look somewhere else. Look at Beijing, China. Because this war isn't just Israel and the US versus Iran. It
Kill all the goats. Who are they going to date?
is a direct hit on China's geopolitical blueprint. And if Iran collapses, China doesn't just lose a partner. It loses a core pillar for its global dominance. And let's get something straight.
I'm drunk again, huh?
Iran isn't just another Middle Eastern state. Iran is the cornerstone of China's West Asia strategy. China and Iran signed a 25-year comprehensive strategic partnership.
I seen the word there. I figure it's a typo.
Why? Well, cheap energy, sanctions evasion, regional leverage, dollar bypass. Around 90% of Iranian oil exports go to China. And why China? Because
so this affects everything in a good way, actually.
China buys
once
it
Iran's
cheap.
Gone.
Because
this also affects Cuba, because Cuba is being supported by Iran.
China settles
Iran
it
oil.
in Chinese yuan.
All the oil wasn't going back to the Iranian people. It was mostly going to do everything Iran wanted to do to mess around with the world.
Because China keeps it outside the US dollar system. And here's the genius or the flaw of the whole thing. So Iran gets Chinese yuan, and then Iran spends that Chinese yuan buying Chinese goods. and the money goes right back to Beijing. So it's a closed loop. And sometimes that oil doesn't even say Iran on paper. It says Malaysian blended oil. So on paper, it's Malaysian oil, but in reality, Iran.
I'm done.
Sanctions walk around, currency experiment, geopolitical lifeline. And when a big Chinese banks, don't want exposure, these deals go through smaller institutions like Kunlun Bank, based in Xinjiang, compartmentalized, quiet. This is the strategic architecture. And this war just
Gregory, is that whiskey better from Japan?
Shook it. Now here's where Iran made a catastrophic error. Unbelievable. Iran didn't just retaliate today. Iran fired missiles across the Gulf. Missiles flew over Bahrain.
Make everything more interesting.
Near the U.S. Fifth Fleet headquarters. And UAE, the debris even killed a civilian. Qatar, the missiles intercepted, no damage. And Jordan, I believe 2 missiles got shot down. And Saudi Arabia, of course, explosions reported. Now, none of these countries attacked Iran. Some are neutral, some were mediating, some were literally maintaining diplomatic back channels. And just in one morning, their airspaces were violated by Iran. Minimal damage. Most missiles got intercepted. But in the process, Iran handed Gulf states legal and political grounds to unite and align against it. That is the worst self-sabotage you can think of. And Saudi Arabia just released a statement. It condemned Iran's aggression in the strongest terms. It called the Iranian strikes a flagrant violation of sovereignty and pledged full solidarity. And then came the statement that that's going to change everything. So Saudi Arabia is saying it is placing all its capabilities to support these countries in all measures they take. All capabilities, all measures. Interestingly, 1 month ago, Saudi was balancing between Tehran and Washington. And Iran just forced the choice today. You don't get neutrality after ballistic missiles enter Saudi's airspace. Iran just did what the US couldn't do for months. Iran unified the Gulf states against Iran. Great job. Now let me show you another shockwave and the collateral damage. Dubai is closed. The busiest international airport on earth, Dubai International, suspended operations. Hundreds of flights canceled and delayed. So it's not just regional disruption. This is now a fracture in the global aviation network. And Dubai, as you know, is not just another airport. It is the connecting artery between Asia, Europe, Africa, and the Middle East. Now
we need Gregory, we need the SAFE Act. We can't let them steal another election.
Flights are rerouting, and oil will be spiking soon. And remember,
not for very long, a short period of time it'll spike. It's going to go right back down. It's up to like $67 when it was at 57 per barrel. It'll end up back down at 57 or lower soon.
The Strait of Hormuz moves about 21 million barrels of oil per day. So I think pretty soon we can expect another oil supply shock coming and more inflation with it. And every hour Dubai stays closed, costs just multiply. You know, tourism, finance, trade, logistics. The UAE built its model on being safe, right? On being neutral and connected. And now it's shut down because missiles flew through its airspace. Who would imagine that?
Right?
UAE, one of the
movie.
safest country you can think of. So Iran just shut down the economic engine of the Gulf. And that bill will be coming due soon. And UAE will make Iran pay dearly. Now let's zoom back out. If Iran destabilizes, China will be the biggest loser. China
He's right on this. You cut off China's oil and they're in trouble.
Loses a sanctioned oil supplier, a yuan settlement partner, a Middle East foothold, a weapons laboratory, a Belt and Road anchor in West Asia. And here's the part no one in China likes to admit. China's Middle East strategy depends on stability without too much commitment. China doesn't want war. China doesn't want to help out its partner in blood and sweat. But Iran just made war unavoidable. And China's discounted oil lifelines going to disappear soon. And if Hormuz closes, energy shock hits China harder than anyone.
Mr. Fix-It, if it is AOC and Harris, the media is going to go all out to try to get them in there.
This war matters far beyond Israel. It hits the balance sheet of the world's second largest economy. China can say goodbye to its huge trade surplus if oil is spiking. And Iran is bound to lose badly. It forced alignment. It gave everyone in the Middle East a common threat. I can't believe it. That they retaliated against everyone. And this coalition, the US...
It makes China have to deal, with Trump and take down their tariffs. Then they can get theirs somewhat lowered with what we sell them.
Struggle to assemble. Iran may have just assembled it in just one morning.
I should say.
That is a strategic miscalculation of historic scale. The next 72 hours will be really interesting. Let's watch out for joint statements.
I bet you this is over within 24.
Military integration. It's no longer regional war anymore. This is a stress test for the China-Iran axis. And Iran have just overplayed its hand. So buckle up. This is not ending in 72 hours. Thanks for watching, and I'll keep you updated.
Here's a couple older Iranian women celebrating. They would fit in with the West. Not those other ones that are coming over from some of these Middle East countries, I tell you.
Hi, Iranian here. So I'm out walking my dog, and I was thinking about the rising tensions between the United States and Israel versus the Islamic Republic occupying my birth country of Iran. And I'm noticing a lot of non-Iranians are speaking out and trying to defend the Islamic Republic. And they're basically whitewashing the crimes of a brutal Islamic dictatorship that has held my country hostage for the last 47 years. I don't know if you know this, but 10% of Iran's population actually live outside of Iran because the vast majority of us escaped. No normal person wants to live in a dictatorship. There's about, I would say, maybe 90 million Iranians in total. So that's about 9 million Iranians who live outside of Iran, mostly in Western countries like Canada, United States, elsewhere. To all these people who are supporting the terrorist Islamic Republic and trying to whitewash the crimes of a brutal Islamic regime.
You're right about the money.
Where
Mr.
are the
Fixer.
protests by Iranians? Where are the Iranians who are in Western countries organizing demonstrations to protest against the West, protest against Israel or America or whatever? You can't find any. They don't
Pee in their
exist.
pants?
That's not a bug. That's a feature.
They're so excited.
And I'll tell you why. Because unlike the pro-Hamas crowds who go out and simp for terrorists and cry intifada and are very anti-Semitic and try to destabilize Western societies, there's a very good reason why you're not going to see any demonstrations by Iranians. That's because we're not a bunch of inbred, savage, jihadi, terrorist sympathizers. Think about that.
Yep. Okay, this is the one where when I go to, I'll go here. This is where we learned that he was dead today.
Israel Channel 12, who are now reporting that Ayatollah Ali Khamenei is dead.
Oh, wow.
That the Iranian supreme leader has been killed in the airstrikes launched by the United States and Israel today. A determined effort by President Donald Trump to topple the Iranian regime. And if true, the reports coming to us now from Israeli Channel 12 that Ayatollah Ali Khamenei is dead, then they have indeed toppled the very head of that regime. And the consequences and ramifications of that can only be guessed at because we have also been reporting just in the last few minutes that the Iranian Defense Minister, Amir Nasirazdeh, and also the Iranian, I should say, commander of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, Commander Mohammed Pakpour.
What wasn't there a, maybe you're old enough, Gregory, to remember a Second City out of Canada, funny skit. It was sort of like a Saturday Night Live up there, where they used to say stuff like, they'd watch clips and they go, that blowed up real good. Boom. They blowed up real good. I don't know, maybe someone can remember it. I think it was Second City. It was out of Canada.
Is also dead. These two top officials, one a military official, the other a civilian official in charge, of course, of the military, the Iranian Defense Minister, and the head of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, according to Reuters, quoting 3 Iranian sources, have been killed.
Yep. All right, let me grab the next one. I wasn't ready to go here. Here's Tommy Robinson saying it too.
And that is because he's brown bread. All those wankers in Western nations who loved him, supported him. Oh, see you later. Burn in hell, you murderous barbarian wanker. Have a good day, everyone.
Means he's dead. This is some of the ones that were shooting off the missiles. Watch, keep watching. I'll see them all running. They got them too. Bye-bye. They're dead. I think this one happened in Dubai or...
Sí, ahí pegó.
Uy, chico, ahora sí se puso.
¿Qué pegó?
Me tiraron.
No.
¿A qué le pegó? Bueno, muchachos. ¿A qué le pegó? A algún carito. Me estás jodiendo, boludo. Mirá la grúa, boludo. ¿Se mueve la grúa? No. Creo que está en el edificio. No veo nada yo. ¿Dónde está el avioncito? Ya se fue. Ahí está. Ahí se vio. Ahí se vio. Mira el humo. ¿A dónde? Mirá, dale, parate, dale, boludo.
Their tallest building in the world. That's the tallest building in the world there, I guess. It didn't make them too happy. Now it gets them against them. They're pretty crazy. Here's the Iron Dome thing. Watch it.
Legitimate military objectives. So that's going to happen a little bit later today. We just got that updated. Tensions have soared in recent weeks as American warships moved into that region. President
They really weren't in that much danger there.
Trump said he wanted a deal to constrain Iran's nuclear program at a moment when the country is struggling at home following interceptions there throughout the past hours here. Also, we did just get this posted here. I was sharing that the IDF did speak a short time ago. It was not in English, so we did not bring it to you. However, we did get this post to X saying shortly ago, alerts were activated in several areas across the country following the detection of missiles launched from Iran.
Mr. Kirk, I don't care for a bummer at all. Motel 6. For a goat? Bates Motel. This is like their 4th of July. Laughing at everything here. Wanker. I know they have a way with words, don't they? I've stayed in a few hotels in my time. I traveled a bit with the softball team. Some of them are pretty filthy, I tell you. So they weren't in that much danger today. It ought to be more than it was. Yep, alright. Oop, I wasn't ready for the next video. Come on, back here. Charlie Kirk.
What do you actually know about Iran? Persia was a great power, and then Iran took a turn for the worst. Interestingly enough, there was the Shah of Iran, and then the Shah was displaced by Mossadegh. Mossadegh was democratically elected. Now, to be very fair, the United States and Britain got rid of Mossadegh, and then we reinstalled the Shah. Bad decision, which then led to the Iranian Revolution, where radical Islam took over Iran. Look at some of these pictures of what Iran used to be. It was wealthy, it was proud, it was strong. The Persians are wonderful people. Some of my closest friends are Persians, and I love the Persian people. And we should have a heart for the Persian people to try and have a better future. Regime change is very difficult to talk about. I actually don't like talking about regime change. It's very complicated, but understand that there can be brighter days ahead for the Iranian people. And just look at some of these pictures of how beautiful Iran used to be, how beautiful Tehran used to be. And it's very easy to kind of sit in your Western armchair and be like, oh, Israel's terrible. Well, you are able to enjoy free speech rights and a lot of rights here in the West that Iran used to have. And if you are serious about actually protecting human rights, you should want to make Iran Western again.
Amen on that. All right, here's some more about Iran.
Why China and Russia won't fight for Iran. For years, Iran believed it had powerful friends, Russia, China, but as US military pressure intensifies, Tehran is discovering something uncomfortable. Its allies are transactional, not loyal. Since 2018, after the United States exited the nuclear deal, Iran's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, pushed a look east strategy. The logic was simple. If the West isolates us, we pivot to Moscow and Beijing, and Iran followed through. Joint naval drills in the Gulf of Oman, missile cooperation, oil sales to China, military coordination in Syria. On paper, the partnership looked strong. But when it comes to actual war with the United States, the support shrinks dramatically. This week, Russia and Iran held a small naval drill in the Gulf of Oman. China plans to join future exercises in the Strait of Hormuz. Now compare that to US deployments, carrier strike groups, long-range bombers, advanced air defense systems, weeks-long sustained strike capability. U.S. officials say Washington now has the option of launching a prolonged air campaign, not just a limited strike like the June Midnight Hammer operation. In contrast, Russia's helicopter carrier left immediately after the exercise ended. So why won't China intervene? China is Iran's largest oil customer. Roughly 20% of the world's oil passes through the Strait of Hormuz. But Beijing's priority is stability, not confrontation, aligning openly with Iran against the
a honeypot with what a goat? A honeypot operation? They seem to like the goats.
United States would damage relations with Washington, risk sanctions, endanger Gulf economic partnerships, disrupt global oil flows. China's approach is clear. Preserve oil access, avoid direct conflict, position itself for influence if Iran's leadership changes. If the regime collapses, Beijing will secure...
Well, what this guy's making a point is, they're friends only so far. They won't fight to the death for him.
Secure energy flows, not defend Tehran militarily. And what about Russia? Moscow has benefited from Iran. Drone cooperation, sanctions evasion networks, regional coordination, but Russia is calculating carefully. It does not want to push Trump closer to Ukraine, risk direct US-Russia confrontation, stretch its own military capacity.
At least I don't think he did anything with animals. It was just little girls and pedophile. The animal stuff, that's even worse to me, sick-wise.
Russian leaders may hope the Iranian regime survives, but they are unlikely to go to war with the United States to save it. Iran still holds leverage. It can disrupt the Strait of Hormuz regional oil infrastructure US bases via proxies. Around 20% of global oil flows through Hormuz. That is Tehran's deterrent. But escalation there would also hurt China, its biggest customer, which is another reason Beijing prefers restraint. The narrative of a unified anti-Western axis is overstated. Russia and China share interests with Iran, but they do not share existential commitment. If the United States strikes Iran, Beijing and Moscow will calculate based on their own survival, their own economy, their own wars, not Tehran's, and that leaves Iran facing the most powerful military in the world, largely alone.
Okay, here's some airstrike stuff. They sent a rocket after one of our jets. Watch the jet get out of there. See the streamers? So we have defenses for their rockets. This is a Koran. It's uranium burning in the Koran. Oh dear. They hate the damn thing. I gotta delete that. Sorry.
Quick message for Crybaby Khomeini and the rest of his liberal simps throughout the entire Western world, most of which are likely on Ivy League university campuses. Talking about you, Columbia. Now, as of this morning, 10 a.m. in Tehran, we have officially activated the law of FAFO. Or more specifically, this clown has. Yeah. See, all that bluffing, all that tough talk, all that destruction of America and Israel, yeah, that's about to wrap up real quick. That's what's about to happen. So you can go ahead and gear up, get your little handkerchief ready, because there's going to be a lot of tear shedding until they drag you up out of that little hole that you crawled into and they bring you to justice. So free the Persian people,
overthrow Taiwan.
Free the majority in Iran who are fighting for their freedom, and get rid of that.
You know what they're doing in Taiwan is that they're putting a lot of agitators in there, and they're trying to make them socialist. They're trying to make them a socialist country, so they'll be buddies with China. That's what they're doing. Hold on, I'll make it back over here. Hold on, where was I? Here we go.
Liebe Freunde in Berlin, ich weiß nicht, ob ihr mich hören könnt. Hier auf dem Potsdamer Platz ist gerade einfach eine riesengroße Feier der Exil-Iraner. So viele Menschen sind hier versammelt. Seit den frühen Morgenstunden sind wir alle auf den Beinen. Hier weinen Menschen vor Freude. Es ist unglaublich, diese Stimmung hier einzufangen.
So basically celebrating everywhere. Some more airstrike stuff.
Oh my God.
So they're trying to hit these hotels. They're trying to hit the hotels because they can't get at us. That's basically what they're doing. They can't even get close to one of our ships. Forget that. All right, here's Dubai.
Himalaya.
So trying to get them. All right, here's Tim Burchett. He's pretty good. Mic drop moment.
President Obama bombed 8 countries without congressional approval. So I think it's a little disingenuous for the Democrats to start saying this is unprecedented. And you've got the most evil regime outside of probably the Chinese in the whole world right now. And they've killed Americans within recent memory. So is this a revenge tour? Maybe a little bit, but you poke the bear, you get it, or you poke the bull, you get the horns. And the horns right now are Donald J. Trump, and he's letting an enemy of this country know how we feel about them.
I want to ask you about the...
I meant to put in their cell. Hold on. Let me change that. Sell them. Okay. Let me get to the next clip. They're all real short ones. Hope I did that one. I get that a lot of stuff. Only the women seem to be able to do that. I don't know, but they're definitely celebrating. So the flag with the lion on it is the one they want.
So Iran has made a strategic error in their response to U.S. airstrikes, and I'll tell you why. Iran has attacked Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, and other neighboring countries, which will likely result in their supply lines being choked off in the Persian Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz. And given that their air defenses and missile stockpiles were severely degraded in the 12-day joint U.S.-Israeli strikes in June of 2025, they have limited options to resupply, which would most assuredly be land routes through Iraq or Pakistan that would be vulnerable to U.S. interdiction there.
Make sure you got ham in your hot dogs there.
Then there's the oil problem for Iran, who does have domestic oil production but imports refined fuel, and military equipment can't run without gasoline. Now, my research shows that with their current stockpiles, they can only last 2 to 4 weeks before shortages cripple their military operations.
I think it's quicker than that.
They could potentially extend the fight through proxy militias in places like Iraq and Yemen, or with cyber attacks and remaining missiles targeting U.S. bases.
This will be over probably about by this time tomorrow.
And allies.
That's my bet.
But that would give them about 1 to 3 months of longevity tops. Most likely,
they're having a lot of people leave them. They're dropping their guns.
The economic collapse and the resulting internal unrest will be the thing that ultimately causes Iran to raise the white flag. Of course, this is all presuming that other world powers like Russia or China don't get involved, something I think is highly unlikely, given that Russia really doesn't want to tangle with war on 2 fronts, especially when America is one of those fronts and their forces are already exhausted and depleted from years of war with Ukraine. China is even less likely to become directly involved, given that the result would be their economic collapse if their main source of revenue, trade with the U.S., were to be jeopardized. So my prediction is that this whole thing will be over in less than a month. I think Trump knows that, and I think that he
I think it's basically over in about 24 hours or less.
knew if the world was ever going to have the opportunity.
Remember when I'm talking in the different areas, Egypt and Iran and Kurdish people and all that, it's probably 24 hours.
To rid itself of the largest state sponsor of terrorism, given the internal division already, that this was it.
There might be some pockets where the Kurdish and Peshmerga and them, they have to go in and mop up some pockets.
So God bless our military and God bless the United States of America.
The observer of the food subject. Gonna make me hungry. And I had a late dinner, actually. It's Iran launching all those missiles. Probably less than 1 in 20 got anywhere.
Thank God.
Here's Jordan intercepts missiles. Missile got intercepted, but the debris still falls. So it didn't blow anything up, but it did land on stuff.
سجله
Evan gets knocked down.
عرسی میره گشادتر معلوم نشد.
I think it got hit. Now the debris is going to fall. Lights up like a star, huh? All right, here's some more humor. I don't own the rights to the music. Stuff they can do with AI these days, I tell you.
All right, I'm Sweeney. I'm coming to you bright and early Saturday morning here in Soho. I want to come on here and give you my take in 60 seconds or less like I always do, and this is on the breaking news. The U.S. just bombed Iran. And I'm going to break this down for you, then I'm going to give you my final thoughts, and I'm going to explain some things to you, right? First and foremost, Thomas Massie and a couple of congressional members have come out saying this was an act of war and it was therefore unconstitutional because the Constitution vests Congress with the power to declare war. Let me break that down for you. Massie, I like you, but you're...
Gregory, some of them already have. The ones I'm talking to, some have already surrendered and put down their weapons. Not enough of them yet, but it's starting to happen.
Constitutionalists, you should know this better than anyone else.
They're going to figure out in the next 12 hours it's going to be totally hopeless.
Article 1 does vest Congress with the power to declare war, but in 1970...
Well, part of the deal with them setting down their weapons is they get to go free. They're not going to put them on trial, I guess. Not the low-level ones. The high-level ones, they are going to put them on trial.
We had something called the War Powers Resolution Act. And what did that do? It gave the president power to do exactly what he's doing now. Isolated hostilities so long as he notifies Congress within 48 hours, and then Congress has the power 60 days thereafter to decide whether to extend those forces or withdraw them. These bombings were in complete comport with the War Powers Resolution Act, and therefore they are constitutional. And how do I feel about it from an Iranian perspective? These folks are going to be rejoicing in the streets. And I'll end this with some free legal advice to the Iranian regime.
That's too much for anybody.
If you don't want to get bombed by the United States, maybe you shouldn't slaughter 30,000 innocent citizens in a matter of a few days.
Just laughing at chat, sorry. That's too much for anybody. Tell you, this is American fighters here. Watch this.
It's
Pilot.
the same old theme since 1916. In your head, they're still fighting with their tanks and their bombs and their bombs and their guns. In your head, they are dying. What's in your head? In your
$2.25 a pound, huh? Oh, 75 pounds. Okay, that's cheap. I don't know about them for hand-to-hand combat, but I bet you they can fly. I tell you that.
Good morning. We are going to be hearing a lot of, oh, look what Trump did. Trump's a warmonger. He started World War III. So let me just explain this to you before you get
one of the shortest wars ever
ahead of yourselves. This is not a war against the Iranian people. This is a war for the Iranian people, against the IRGC, against the Ayatollah, against the regime that has been suppressing them for over 47 years. This is a war about freedom, about Western values. This is a war to make sure that the terrorist group that has been funding terrorism for decades, that has funded over 60,000 terrorist attacks, doesn't have nuclear weapons, because Trump said over and over again, hey, no nuclear weapons. And what did they do? Oh, you know what? Here, we're going to use uranium. We're going to turn that into nuclear weapons. That's what we're going to do. You know what? F around and find out. Okay? That's exactly what's happening. The people in Iran, they are celebrating in the streets. The people in Iran have been suppressed for over 47 years under the Islamic regime. And what you don't see, or what you don't seem to want to notice, is the fact that Islam is trying to take over most of these Western countries. We're seeing it happen in Europe. We're seeing it happen slowly in the United States. We don't want that to happen. If you see what Iran was like 47 years ago, and you see what it's like now, you would not recognize it. So this is a war about freedom. This is a war about keeping our values. So yes, we have to do what we have to do, because guess what? Terrorist organizations should not have nuclear weapons. I don't understand how that's such a crazy concept. Yes, F around and find out, Iran, okay? We are done living under a regime that is going to suppress its people. Trump is not going to allow that. Israel's not going to allow that. Freedom for Iran. Free everyone. I'm done.
Yep. 47 years they've been forbidden to dance. Watch now. They're actually pretty brave to do that there in Iran, because they could be killed for that. You never miss, huh, Gregory? They never miss, never. Aluminum is not cheap, yeah. That's true. My wife won't make this I don't know. I'm happy for him. I tell you that.
The UAE Ministry of Defense stated that their air defense systems have intercepted a whole bunch of incoming projectiles to Dubai and other locations around the United Arab Emirates. But specifically, there's been a notable incident that took place where a reported UAS hit the Fairmont and Palm Hotel Resort inside of Dubai, which you can see in this video right here. Prior to the attacks, the Iranian state TV had openly threatened key economic hubs in Dubai, such as Dubai Airport Free Zone, Dubai Internet City, Dubai Silicon Oasis, Jebel Ali Free Zone, Zone and the Dubai International Financial Center. The United Arab Emirates hosts a pretty significant United States military presence, and they condemned the Iranian regime's attacks as blatant violations and reported intercepting waves of missiles and UAS with pretty high efficiency. Most of the missiles and UAS were intercepted over the United Arab Emirates, but debris caused material damage in Dubai and Abu Dhabi and definitely disrupted daily life because they were impacting hotels and resorts like I was talking about. People, there's reports with of windows shaking, residents fleeing some of the high rises, and people are recording this stuff on their cameras from the tops of their apartment complexes, from their windows and stuff like that. All flights at the Dubai International Airport and Dubai World Central were suspended indefinitely, with airspace closed as a precautionary measure as well.
Oh, I have this one marked well. I forgot what it was. Oh, okay. I didn't have a name on this one. I think it was one of the strikes in Iran. I think. By the size of the explosion, I'd say it was in Iran. This lady's from Germany. She's warning us about the Iran proxy networks.
Welcome to Germanistan 2026. Dear government, you just got caught, because it's no longer a conspiracy that Germany is essentially run by an Islamist agenda. Not only do we have Islamists in the country regularly committing terrorist attacks, no, Germany just got exposed for sending weapons to Islamists in the Middle East, facilitating more civil wars and therefore enabling more refugee routes where Islamists can
There's a lot of good money in wars.
And easily infiltrate these paths to send more of their own towards Europe. We have evidence that the German government is currently actively collaborating with Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and Iran, and secretly equipping Islamist militias in Sudan with weapons. This is where our taxes are going. And meanwhile, the German legacy media and the government are telling us that the United States, out of all countries, are no longer our ally.
Was mich bei der Szene, die Sie am Anfang gezeigt haben, wirklich überrascht hat, war die Brutalität und die Schärfe. Und das zeigt letztlich, dass die USA kein Verbündeter mehr sind, dass sie sich immer mehr von den demokratischen Werten, die die transatlantische Beziehung mal ausgemacht haben, entfernen, dass sie immer autokratischer werden, dass wir offensichtlich andere Ziele verfolgen, was Trump möchte.
I want to remind you right now how Chancellor Friedrich Merz was so grateful that Israel was doing the, quote, dirty work for us in the West.
Das ist die Drecksarbeit, die Israel macht. Für uns alle.
Meanwhile, our taxes are literally funding the opposition, radical Islamists blowing up civilians. This is going to become a massive legal problem for our Chancellor Friedrich Merz. Well, if he is held accountable. The European Union have maintained a ban on delivering weapons to Sudan since 1994.
Yes,
and there's also an arms embargo from the United Nations on Sudan, which has been renewed.
You know how Greta shut up about all that global warming crap?
Multiple times since 2004. Germany has ignored these violations of export laws via third parties, and no, it cannot be argued that it was negligence, which would be bad enough, or they simply did not personally deliver the weapons to Sudan, which means it's fine. No, it's not, because there are actually very strict laws with controls prohibiting the
Originally, Russia was on the side of Germany, along with Italy and Japan on the World War. Then they, when they got attacked,
export of weapons. And why are we?
They split Poland in half and took Finland and Sweden,
delivering weapons to Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and Iran in the first place. And how did this happen multiple times? What's quite shocking to me on top of that is that in Germany, and let's be honest, all over the West, most people are not very familiar with what's actually going on with the war in Sudan. I have made multiple videos about this, and I think it's important for you to be informed, because I do understand that we got to put our own countries first. So why would we care about Sudan? And the truth is that it affects us. And our taxes are paying for what's going on there. And if this goes downhill and it all ends badly, then we will be the recipients of refugees once again. This is the result of globalism.
I think that's part of their goal, is to get refugees here.
War has finally started in the Middle East. Today, the United States and Israel struck the Islamic Republic of Iran. And across Iran, ordinary people, the people that the regime has beaten, imprisoned, and shot at for 47 years, are saying three words: help has arrived. Let that sink in. The people inside Iran are not afraid of this moment. They have actually been waiting for it. While the regime moves the supreme leader to a bunker somewhere, Iranians are moving to the streets with hope. This is not an attack.
With the attack before, they figured out where they were going to take him. And that's why they were able to get him today.
On Iran. This is not an attack on Iranian people. It's the complete opposite of that. For 47 years, this barbaric Islamic regime has arrested women for their hair. It has opened fire on mourners and protesters in the streets, and it has sent the nation's oil wealth to terrorist proxies in the Middle East. And now it's time for them to answer for what they have done. To my American friends, I know war is a heavy word. I know that Americans are tired, but understand what's actually happening in Iraq.
Okay, Pat.
Every rocket Hezbollah has ever fired towards American soldiers, Iranian money. Every rocket the Houthis fired towards American sailors, Iranian weapons. Every rocket
Greta goes wherever she gets paid the most.
And drone that Russia has used against Ukraine, Iranian drones. America or Israel didn't start this war.
So was Europe. They're dumping ground.
The regime started it decades ago against its own people and against America. What's happening today is not the
white Christian nations. That's her target.
Beginning of a conflict. It's actually the beginning of the end of one. So please stand with 90 million Iranians who are standing up right now. Stand with the American troops who have previously paid the price for this regime's aggression for decades. This is what it looks like when America shows up. Don't look away. Don't blame America. Don't blame Israel. It's all on the Islamic Republic. This evil regime must be eradicated, and I think it's finally time.
Boom! Another big one. I liked it. Yep, I think it's gone. Couldn't even have a good rummage sale there with what's left. Bye-bye. That blew it up real good. So's this one gonna. The precision they can hit with these days, I tell you, it's pretty good.
جسم ناقصی دارم.
Here's more funny from a cat.
اندک آب.
I like it. This is, I think it's all the people in Iran, after they found out he was dead. Let me rewind it a little bit. All the people of Iran, you got to listen. They're all cheering and making noise. News spreads fast there. Go on to the next one.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. He's dead. He's dead. Khomeini is dead. The supreme leader of the Islamic regime is dead.
Supreme dictator.
He's dead.
Yep. Now they just gotta do some cleanup, and then they gotta vote for some new people. Install their own government this time. Don't let the MEK take over. They're socialists. I don't own the rights.
The absolute scenes here downtown in Washington D.C.
Where's the cat? Yeah,
the World War I memorial here, and Congress just that way behind me there. The Washington Monument just here, and it's just hundreds and hundreds of people with American flags, Persian flags, and they are celebrating, as you can see.
The flag with the lion on it is the one that they should be. Yeah, see right there, the lion. That's the original one they had before Islam took over. A little bit different. Music. All right, here's Iranian woman against the Islamic terrorist.
Hi, everybody. I'm sorry, I'm a mess, but I'm just glued to the TV. There's no way I could make myself pretty for this. I know a lot of people have been messaging me and saying, oh, war has started in Iran. And I want to say something very, very important that everybody needs to know, because I know that most of you all just really don't know what's going on in Iran, and which is really problematic, because you don't know it and then you comment on it and then it just creates issues. If anybody dies in this war, if any civilians die in this war, not the regime, all of the people of the regime.
Dear meat to me has always been too kind of gamey, but it's much better for you, a lot less fat.
Should be wiped out. They have been oppressing the Iranians for the past 47 years. They have literally occupied Iran. Iranians have been saying, we do not want you for the past 47 years. They have been protesting for the past 47 years, saying, we do not want this regime. And in the past 2 months, it has become even worse. And they were all killed, by the way. You all know the numbers, by the Islamic Republic of Iran. So if anybody dies in this war, it is solely the Islamic Republic of Iran's fault, because people have been saying it loud enough and they did not leave. They just want to stay in power, building nuclear weapons to wipe out America and Israel. For what reason? We Iranians
or any non-Muslims
are against what the regime is doing. So if anybody dies, and this war has started because of the Islamic Republic of Iran, if they would have just listened to the Iranian people, if they would have just stopped doing whatever they're doing with all of the terrorist organizations that they have, like Hamas and Houthis and Hezbollah, if they would have stopped all of that, there would have not been any war right now. So if anybody dies, it's nobody else's fault but the Islamic Republic of Iran. Remember this. The Iranians do not want this occupying regime. They've clearly said it over and over and over again all of these years. And you have to listen to the people of that country.
Yep.
خامنه‌ایو میگن زدن. خامنه‌ایو زدن. وای.
They're cheering because he's dead.
بچه‌ها مبارکه. مبارکه.
I don't blame him on that.
If you're not Iranian, you will hear a ton of misinformation about how Israel and America just attacked Iran. If you're a leftist, you may want to lecture us Iranians. However, what I say to you is take a big breath before you lecture us, because millions of Iranians around the world are literally celebrating, dancing in the streets right now, because they remember the funerals, they remember the massacres, they remember the prisons, and they also have family that's still missing. To everyone that's celebrating, please have a little sensitivity too. There are people in Israel in bomb shelters as I make this video. There are families in Iran who are still grieving or looking for their family.
Actually, I don't think they're in that much danger in Israel, to be honest. right now.
I called myself a lefty, but right now to me left is an evil.
Can I ask you guys, what are you guys out here rallying for today?
There's a protest going on in Iran. They want to change the regime because the people, motherfucker, rolling in my country for like 50 years. They're killing people in machine gun in the streets, right? So we are trying to be their voice and let the board know it's a blackout right now going on in Iran, and the internet is out for like 3 years and no one can hear them. So we just want to be their voice.
In your life, have you ever felt like it's been this close to a toppling of the regime since he took over?
For sure, this is the closest one that's possible. I think it just little push from the big governments like US can do the job for us.
There's been talk of a secondary strike by the US on on the IRGC. Have you heard about that?
We are praying for that. We hope for that. If just an attack from United States, help from Trump, I think can do the job.
And you're from that country, or?
Yeah, we all are Persians.
Can I ask you, we've seen Democrats come out and say that America shouldn't be involved. They're nowhere to be seen here, although they act as if they're in favor of the oppression of people.
Myself, I used to pro-Democrat people, right? I called myself a lefty, but right now to me left is an evil. They just act, they just say good stuff to you, but when it comes to reality, they do the other way around. They don't care. They just want to, it's a war machine. To me, left and Democrat side is a war machine.
You're making me hungry. I can spell it. I'll get it in a minute.
Mr. Mark Ruffalo, why are you talking about the ICE, that one single woman that died, that came in front of ICE? I don't understand where you guys want to take this with Gaza and Hamas and the Islamic Republic of Iran. Neither of you have lived under the Islamic Republic tyranny that you guys are talking about the death of one single woman that have came in front of an ICE agent, a police, and you guys are talking about you guys have human rights. You guys have everything that you need in your life. We have been taken, our lives have been taken away from us. You guys have everything, and you guys once have one president in your country that wants the best for the people of America that have built the land for 250 years. America has a right to have a country. America has a right to have a country as much as Iranians have a right to have a country. So let's get the facts right here. All right? Let's not get ourselves lost in this illusion that you guys have been building for us, for people.
Amen. Amen on that. I tell you that.
So today is not only the day that the Iranian people finally get to start the process of liberation that they've been begging for the last 47 years, but it's also the day that the MAGA movement, the real America First,
remember the Iran-Contra and the purpose
of replacing the globalist regime with the American system is finally liberated from these fake ass.
So everyone remember all the hostages that Carter caused, and as soon as Reagan got in, they let them out because they were afraid of Reagan.
Black pill, wannabe America First crowd who have taken the mask off, clocked in for duty, and are now driving the Iranian propaganda machine. While the Iranians in the streets in Tehran and throughout the country and the diaspora all over the world are dancing in the streets and celebrating, the fake-ass Black Pill America First wannabe crowd are pushing Iranian propaganda. So I have some questions for this fake-ass Black Pill wannabe America First crowd. Who's paying you? To say that Donald Trump betrayed America tells me you don't have the slightest idea what's happening in the world. You clearly did not read the National Security Strategy document that was released back in November of 2025, where Donald Trump laid out specifically, exactly what he's doing on the world stage right now. And I have a feeling you don't care at all. Because while the fake-ass Black Pill America First wannabe crowd is out there pushing Iranian propaganda, Iranians are dancing in the street. To the Hodge twins, did you read the National Security Strategy document? President Trump has completely lied to his voters. You didn't read the document. Maybe you feel lied to because you have no clue. What?
You know why, John? Because he didn't go in with enough force. You got to go in with enough force so you can have the other helicopters to rescue him and get him out of there.
What they're doing on the world stage. And I don't think you care. So my question to you.
They wouldn't have taken him if they didn't think that Carter wasn't weak.
Who's paying you? Because while you're out there driving Iranian and globalist propaganda, students in Tehran are celebrating. And to the account that I'm absolutely convinced is actually in the possession of someone like the Krasenstein brothers now, who's paying you? Who's paying you to push propaganda for the Iranians. Because people in the streets in Iran are celebrating watching missiles flying through the sky, taking out the Iranian regime locations. And to the head demon of the demon cult of propaganda, we know who's paying you, don't we? Why
Well,
is
there's
it
always
that
a lot
your
of
language seems to
sandstorms.
line up almost?
He didn't want to go during Ramadan, so then he waited when the season was worse for the sandstorms.
Almost exactly with what we're seeing coming out of the globalist Iranian propaganda machine, just like we're seeing of the reports of statements from the leaders of Great Britain. And to the people who've been running around screaming at the top of their lungs, where's the Epstein files? Release the Epstein files. Where do you think the real files that seem to have vanished over the last couple of decades were sent to? And to the rest of the lunatic left and the fake-ass America First crowd, here's a message from the world. The diaspora of Iranian refugees who have fled their country because of the brutality of the Ayatollah and the regime are celebrating everywhere.
As they should. All right, here's Julia Michaels.
You're scared to die as you chant in the streets and risk your lives? Well, if you too were suffocated by your government and had nothing left, I wonder what you would risk to breathe freely again.
Only a couple more.
The Iranian people know the cost of resistance and choose it anyways. Day after day since December 28, they stand in front of armed security forces and look them right in the face. Because it's not the fear of death that keeps them awake, but the fear that if they don't fight, the reality will never change. After 4 decades of repression, you become desensitized to the fear, because you've been living in a nightmare for 47 years. And when you're governed by a regime that's removed all your rights, dreaming of a free Iran is the only thing that keeps your soul alive. So the possibility of death will not stop our people's resistance in the streets, because they'd catch bullets with their bare hands if it meant that Iran could be free. And this isn't the first time they've chosen to fight. They've risked their lives in the streets since 1979. And while they continue to fight, we need to help be their voice. As the media tries to overshadow us, we need to break through the noise. Until the day that our people are free, until the day we overthrow this oppressive regime, until the day we see the revolution of which we've dreamed, until the day we have Azadi. And until that day, Iranians will continue to stare death in the eyes, because giving up on a free Iran is scarier than any death they could die.
Yep. Here's Bridget. Days like this make her so proud to be an American.
We are delighted, as somebody who grew up in the Middle East, as somebody who comes from Lebanon, a country that Iran destroyed right now through their proxy Hezbollah. I am elated to watch what's happening. As a national security expert, I am elated to see the biggest terrorist regime in the world about to fall. Actually, we have received intelligence right now that the Ayatollah has already been killed with at least 10 of his leadership. Israel verified it, not in America yet. But this is incredible. We are witnessing history.
Daniel,
this is the biggest story of this century. I mean, it is incredible. We are seeing the reshifting of world powers right now, of world influence. This is not just about Iran. Basically killing the head of the snake in Iran will—
They're all short videos. I didn't know how much it was all going to add up to.
Liberate the entire world. China right now is no longer going to have access to oil. North Korea is not going to have access, or Russia is not going to have access to drones. This is changing the political landscape throughout the world. This is great news today.
It is. 100% is. I've been all for it, I tell you. It's like I said, that 90% of the terrorism is funded by them. You cut that down, then you only got to deal with the last 10%.
Well, I just did about a 2.5 hour assessment online about everything that's going on in Iran right now. And for anybody that's curious, look, I'm always skeptical of the United States military once again getting involved in foreign interventions. But I also recognize that that is part of the role of the federal government, is to protect the United States against enemies, foreign and domestic. And
normally I'd be that way too.
Iran has definitely been an enemy to the United States. There's no question of that. What degree of military involvement should we participate in? I actually think that Donald Trump has a pretty good track record on this so far. where he will use overwhelming military force to achieve well-defined objectives, but he doesn't deploy massive ground forces to try to foolishly set up parliamentary democracies in countries that don't want them. By the same token, in Iran, you actually see people rising up against their own government. And in Trump's speech, he said something very important, which was he encouraged the military and police in Iran to lay down their weapons or join the resistance. And that's what it's going to take. The Iranian people have to be the ones that decide their own fate. But insofar as the United States can participate in such a way that might create an opportunity for them to be able to do that without U.S. forces having to do the heavy lifting, that might be a good bet. So I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna be cautiously optimistic. I will give the Trump administration more.
The Persians and the Kurdish are going to fight together to get rid of all the little extremists that are left after this. Probably start. They were looking at 3 to 5 days from now, but it looks like it might start in 24 hours.
More benefit of the doubt than probably any other administration in my recent.
Because they're kind of crumbling faster than we thought.
Lifetime. But by the same token, if this ever does get to a point where people are suggesting large deployment of U.S. ground forces, I'm going to be real skeptical of that, and it better come with a declaration of war, because the bottom line is that if we are going to commit U.S. forces to combat operations, then I expect members of Congress to display an ounce of the courage they expected out of our men and women in uniform. But until then, I wish the best for the Iranian people. I hope they overthrow the Ayatollah. I hope all of our American servicemen and women
I don't think they have much left to fight with there.
come home safe. God bless.
All right, here's the last video. I should be on tomorrow at 6 p.m. And I think I'm going to have a guest on 5 p.m. on Monday. So, and I got a couple candidates that might be coming on. I haven't lined up the dates. It's so hard.
Yeah, Don, good afternoon to you. From currently on Whitehall outside Downing Street, hundreds of British Iranians gathered here. They're currently chanting. People have been speaking on stage. They are protesting against the Iranian regime and also showing solidarity to the people of Iran here. And the atmosphere has been very different to previous protests that have taken place because of what we saw in Iran this morning with those strikes conducted by US and Israel forces. And we can speak now to Sudi. What do you make of what we saw in Iran this morning, those strikes?
Yeah, we saw finally Trump start acting. After about a month, he's been promising Iranian people he's going to help them. And the Iranian people in Iran, they are so happy. Nobody likes the war, for wishing the war for their country. But Islamic Republic has been killing people for 47 years, and people are empty-handed. They ask for this. So they are happy, they dancing in the street, and they supporting these attacks.
So, I mean, Sudi, you're sounding very pleased that these strikes have gone ahead this morning, but what do you make of the fact that Britain wasn't involved? We're talking outside Downing Street. The fact Britain wasn't involved, what do you make of that?
Yeah, well, the British government for 47 years was behind the Islamic Republic, and they've been supporting them. Verbally, they said no, but in action, they've been supporting Islamic Republic, and there is no surprise to.
Seems like they're always handing them our tax dollars.
For them to act like that, and but shame on you.
So the fact that even British military bases weren't used either to support US and Israeli forces, is that something you would like to see as this conflict perhaps continues for the next few days?
Well, the more help is merrier. I mean, they have to make their side. English government have to make their side. Either they are with the Iranian people or the government in Iran. That is not our government. Is the Islamic government. Is the ideology government. So if they have to show their side, either they are with humanity or unhumanity. And I wish they come to help as well.
And Sudi, Donald Trump, US president, has said that he hopes the Iranian people will be able to topple the government after these strikes. How much of a challenge will that be for the Iranian people in Iran?
Well, as I said, Iranian asked for help, not to control Iran, and we have the opposition, Reza Pahlavi, which people been shouting and want him to come back and take over. And Trump, Mr. Trump, they are after their own benefit, their interest, and plus they are using Iranian people. They've been out of street protesting, and the government, the Iranian government, the government in Iran, we're not saying Iranian government, is been killing people, over 40,000 in 2 days. So Mr. Trump saw that's the opportunity, because America has been telling everyone they're going to attack Iran for years and years. But now is the day they have to come and they get help from Iranian people in Iran as well.
Okay, well, Sudi, thank you very much for chatting to us on GB News Dawn. You can hear how loud people are chanting here as they prepare to march now from outside Downing Street to the Iranian embassy.
They could have done it. They could have made a nuclear deal with no nuclear weapons ever, take away all their enriched uranium, and only have stuff for nuclear plants, but they wouldn't do it. So they lose. All right, everyone. God bless everyone. I should be on at 6 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. All right. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for hanging in the chat. It was longer than I thought. I had a whole bunch of short ones, but it added up to it longer than I thought. All right. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye. See you tomorrow.